Hey y'all, if you're ready to catch some catfish, let's do it. We got a few hours of daylight left. We got some fresh bait, including some premium baits here. I got us some skipjack this morning. We're gonna drop them down and we're gonna go for a drift. We're gonna take a big long stretch of the main channel ledge here on the Tennessee River, and we're just gonna go cover some water, see what we run into. Time of year's right, could be some big blues, could be some big flatheads, hopefully a mixture of both. So come with me, get your snacks, get your fishing poles, and let's go. I'm gonna get y'all here settled into the chest while I get these baits cut up. We're gonna be fishing with 2 rods, and I'm gonna do a skipjack head on one of them. We're gonna kind of put a big bait and a small bait combo, swing for the fences on one rod, and we're gonna take a gizzard shad here, and on this one, I'm gonna take a body section. So we're gonna have 2 different types of baits. We're gonna have 2 different cuts of baits, 2 different sizes of baits. Just offer as much variety as we can with the limited rods that we have, but we're gonna make the most of it, man. And we come across a big fish, good chance we're gonna entice them with one of these 2 setups. So this one here, this is the heavier setup. This is my signature series rod, the Golly Whopper rod from Catfish Sumo. Shimano Dakota reel, 40-pound test line, down to 80-pound leaders. I got a little, this is a 4-ounce egg sinker here. Normally when I'm drifting, I like 8s on the heavy setup, but we got a 4 tied on and we're gonna make it work. Swivel down to a 10-aught size circle hook along with the bait there. So I'm gonna drop this straight down to the bottom. Right now we're 45 feet deep. And our depth is gonna vary today. It's gonna go from low 40s where we're at down to almost 60 feet deep. And then it's gonna start to come up. And depending on how far we go down, we may be in the 20s in depth. We could be around the 40s again. It just depends on how far we end up drifting today. That's gonna be determined by how fast we end up moving down through here, and too, just how many fish we're catching. Because we get on some fish, we may try to sit there on top of them as long as we can. Now, this setup here, much smaller. This is gonna be our light tackle setup. Doesn't mean we're necessarily gonna just catch small fish with it, but we hook into something, a monster on this thing, we in for a good time. So, this setup here, we've got just an ugly stick inshore rod, Daiwa BG 4000 reel, and we've got some 15-pound line here. This hook today, I've been playing around with the light tackle hooks. This is a number 1 size shiner hook. And of course we got that piece of the gizzard shad on there, and this is just a little 2-ounce egg sinker on this one. So I'm gonna drop this down and we're gonna see what we're moving at. The current, based on the generation at the dam, it should have us moving about ½ mile an hour under calm conditions. However, the wind today, it's not blowing hard, but it is blowing a little bit and it is coming directly upstream. So that's gonna slow us down, and it looks like it's got us moving. I don't know how well you can see this screen here because of the sun being right over it, but looks like 0.1, 0.2. So we may have to supplement our speed a little bit, but you can see our depth there, 45 feet. Water temperature's hanging in there, 79 degrees. You know, we're in September here. It's starting to cool a little bit, but the afternoon temperatures are warm, so water temps are hanging in there. But we're gonna take this line. So over here in front of us, you've got a shallow flat. It's a few feet deep. Drops off real sharp, and that's signified by these tight contour lines here. Then you can see the contour lines, they start to space out a little bit over into here. So what you have is you have a steep drop and then a more gradual drop until it gets to its deepest right over here behind us. So what we want to do is I want to take this break line where it goes from the steep drop to the more gradual drop, and I want to follow, I'm going to get us positioned here when I'm done showing you, but I want to follow that line and I want to follow it all the way downriver here until we get down to the deeper hole that's kind of at the bottom here of this ledge. And it's probably, I don't know, a few hundred yards, quarter mile. I'm terrible at judging distances, but we'll talk about it as we make our way down through here. But you know, this time of day, it's afternoon, it's like 3 o'clock, 3:30, something like that. Sun's still at a high angle coming down. Water clarity is a few feet of visibility. So the kayak's putting off shadow as we go over. And I just think that when you got conditions like this, I feel like you're better quality fish. If you're going to bust them, you're going to have a better chance of doing it if you're fishing deeper. Yesterday, I fished a shallower section of the river. I got several fish, but we didn't get the big one. And you know, I want to try to bust something big out here today. No guarantees it's going to happen, but the good news is, if you're seeing this video, we at least caught something. We didn't get skunked, or else you wouldn't be seeing this. So, come with me today, y'all. We're going fishing. I think I'm going to just leave the camera rolling again. This is going to be another just uncut video, unedited here, because I ain't got, but let me see what time it is. It's later than I thought. It's 3:47. So, you know, this time of year, it's starting to get dark at what, 7:30-ish? I don't know. And I'd like to be off the water by dark. I don't have my light with me or anything, so we just going to, you know, fish till about dark or so, and hopefully bust some big fish as we go down through here. And I wanted today, I went out this morning. The reason I'm fishing in the afternoon today is it was cool this morning. It was in the 50s. And I needed to get a haircut today, and so I was like, I'm gonna go get a haircut, let it warm up a little bit, and after I get a haircut, I'm gonna go out and try to catch us some skipjack. And I did. And, well, I got 3. I didn't get many, but that's enough. We'll make that work. But that took longer. It took me probably close to 2 hours to get them 3 skipjack. Like, it wasn't a lights out on fire bite for the skipjack. I was having a hard time with it. So, by that point, I was like, well, hell, I might as well just go home and get some lunch, and then we'll just come out here in the afternoon. And so that's what we're doing. So we're going to just fish kind of a late afternoon session here. At least it's good and warm. This time of year, man, you get these hot afternoons where it's in the 80s, but the morning temperatures in the 50s. I can't be wearing flippy flops out in the 50s, so you know me, I like to soak up this flippy flop weather as long as I can. So we're going to make the most of it this afternoon, see what's going on, and I'm hoping we not only get some fish, I'm hoping we bust something big today. This stretch of the river, I'm coming here for 2 reasons. One, because again, time kind of got away from me a little bit today, and so this launch that I used is fairly close to the house, reasonable drive. Second reason I wanted to come here specifically is this time of year, I have busted some big flatheads in the month of September. It's kind of something, I mean, I've caught big flatheads here other times of the year too, but like specifically the month of September, I've busted some big ones here. So I want to just see if there's anything going on, and if so, can we take advantage of it? So I want to bust out the big rod today. And this kayak I'm in my Old Town Big Water today. And this one, I've got the rod holders securely mounted. So this particular kayak has that front hatch, which allows me to access this area. And I was able to drill directly through the hole. And these Old Town kayaks, they're one of the thicker plastic kayaks. They're very good quality. So I didn't have to use no backing plate or anything. I could just run the bolts through with a big washer and a nut and secure that on there. So these things are on here, they're rock solid. So, you know, big fish nails the rod, takes it down, no issues whatsoever. Now, the lighter tackle rod, it ain't gonna matter no way because our drag is much looser on that setup. But the heavier action rod, I keep my drags significantly tighter, which I do need to check that, yeah. those are significantly tighter, and that allows the fish, when he hits, to load up the rod and then set that circle hook on itself. Because circle hooks, usually it's the pressure as the fish starts to swim off, it turns in their mouth and sets the hook. Whereas the lighter tackle stuff, you know, ideally we need to be setting the hook on those, which I sometimes forget to do because I'm so used to fishing with circle hooks. But I want to use the heavier stuff today since we've got some premium bait and we're in a, you know, a big fish area. I want to bust a monster on the light tackle too. I want to. I've been trying lately. I've been using the light tackle a lot. But the light tackle, aside from being a lot of fun, is just, it's more practical when I'm in my other kayak, the Hobie Lynx. Because that Hobie Lynx, and I've talked to you all about this ad nauseum, but it's a more difficult kayak to rig for catfishing because of the fact you don't have internal storage like this one, so you can't bolt anything in. You're forced to use the gear tracks, and the gear tracks on the Lynx they're not very good, to be honest with you. You know, they're not made for the kind of torque that's going to be put out by a big fish loading up a rod with that downward pressure. But with the light tackle, I can go out and catfish on the Lynx and not have to worry about a rod holder getting ripped off or the whole gear track getting ripped off the kayak. I don't have to worry about that. So on that kayak, when I'm out in it, it's more suited for 2 light tackle rods. But this one here, we can put, you know, I've done a lot of catfishing in this with the heavy tackle setups, just two heavy rods, and it does just fine. Really, the only point of consideration here when we've got the big heavy tackle is when I lean over to grab the rod, I have to kind of be mindful to try to keep my head and my weight in the center of the kayak, because when I lean over, that fish he's got the rod loaded up, and I lean over to grab the rod, I take the pressure off the fish a little bit. So I have to be kind of mindful of that. But otherwise, man, I can, with those rod holders bolted on, we can do whatever we want. And so today, with the fact I was able to get us a few skipjack this morning, so we'll come out here, we'll swing for the fences on one rod, and we'll put out the light tackle on the other. And if the big fish want a small bait, we got it covered. If they want a whole belly full, we got them covered. My gizzard shad are 2 days old at this point. And of course, the skipjack just a few hours old. So everything's still reasonably fresh. Gizzard shad, whatever we got left over after this trip, I'm going to throw out. Tomorrow, I'm going to go ultralight fishing. So, something got hit. Is it the light tackle? One of them got bumped. Something come up and took a little nip. All right. Right now, I'm just letting the current kind of take us. We're moving 0.2 down through here, slower than I would like, but that's just because the wind is blowing upstream. But the good news is when you're moving slower than the current, you are moving slower, but your scent is not. The current is moving the blood and the oils and stuff from our bait on down in front of us. So the fish are able to kind of lock in on that scent, and then gets their attention, and then boom, here's a bait in their face as we follow right behind it. So that's not the worst thing in the world to be moving slower than the current, but I would like to move a little bit faster down through here just to cover some water more effectively. But this area through here, this is a productive stretch of the river, especially this time of year as we get here. Oh. Something's after our head. Got a small fish coming up there nipping on that thing. Tell them small ones, we got them a bait over here that they can actually eat. Tell them leave that skipjack head alone. We'll keep that thing in good shape. We'll keep it in good condition. But yeah, we're going to have some fun this afternoon. Like I said, if you're seeing this, we caught some fish, and if I've caught some fish, then I've had some fun today. Hopefully get several, but what I really want is at flathead. That's what I'm really... Yesterday, I didn't get any. So I said, I want to fish a little bit deeper water today. And I think when you get these bright sunny days and relatively clear water, I think them fish kind of tend to move a little deeper during the peak of the day. That's just my thoughts. I mean, I don't back this up because I don't fish these hours very often. Most of the year I'm fishing morning hours, spring to fall. I do the mornings, and then usually the only times I'm doing midday, early afternoon, really the only times I do that is in the winter. So I don't really know what to expect from it, but I just feel like when you got that sun directly overhead and super clear water, I feel like they move deeper. And then during the low light periods, they'll come out, be more active, be more inclined to move shallow. That's just that's my thoughts on it. So, you know, you gotta go ultimately. If you believe it to be true, it is. Because you will manifest what you believe to be true. If you think you're going to have a lousy day, you're probably going to end up having a lousy day. If you wake up with a positive attitude and you're going to have a good day, well, you're probably going to find a way to have a good day. It's just going to be. So, and here's the other thing too. When you do have the sun kind of overhead, and it won't be that angle much longer with it being this late. It's going to start going down quick. But when you've... Oh, what's happening here? Are we snagged here? We got a fish. You done got snagged. There it come. Don't be getting snagged now. We ain't doing no snags today, folks. All right, we still good there. We still good. You still got your bait on there. Yeah, we come up a little bit. We're 41 feet deep. I probably need to adjust that other one too. I'm just, letting that sinker hit bottom here. I feel it right there. So I just reel the rod tip down, raise it up, and set it in the holder. So now that bait's just off the bottom. And as we make our way down, did this thing rip our bait off? When that fish hit, I think he got our bait. No, he didn't. All right. I was like, I don't feel our bait on there. I was about to be angry. But as we make our way along, we will have to adjust our bait as needed to keep it just off the bottom. And with us being kind of right here on the edge of this drop, like if we go a few feet to the right, we're going to be significantly shallower than if we go a few feet to the left, just the way from it. Because, I mean, even though it goes from a steep drop to a more gradual drop, it's still dropping down through here. So depending on how we're positioned on this ledge, there could be a little bit of a swing. So if we come up on it, we're liable to get snagged like we was there a second ago. We slide off, our bait's liable to be a few feet higher off the bottom than we want it to. Like right now, we're sitting here 47 feet. We went from 40 feet to 47 just like that. So, but what I like to do though, I like to work those break lines, man. Fish follow those edges. Now, we could be out here in the deepest part of the channel too, but like, I really like those edges. Anytime I see a nice break line like that, I like to just follow it, because you just never know what you're going to run into on them break lines, man. I do need to, here I did raise that thing up, now I need to lower it back down. But I love suspend fishing. I love this light tackle stuff we've been doing. I've been having a really fun time with it. So we're going to mix it up today and do both. I talked about on a recent trip, I was doing some, I always say, I'm old. I say anchor fishing when I'm setting still. In my mind, it's always going to be anchor fishing. But I was in my other kayak with the motor, so I spot lock. So I'm setting still. Kind of like I'm anchored, I'm just anchored with the motor. But on it, it's a bigger kayak. I got more rod holders on it. I was fishing with 2 light tackle rods on the front. And I threw a big bait off the back. And I think on that setup, I think that's kind of the way to go. That way you're hopefully getting a lot of action, getting some numbers of fish with the smaller baits, and possibly big fish too if it's the kind of day where a big fish wants to eat a small bait. But you've also got your heavier tackle, bigger bait, swinging for the fences type bait out. So I think it's good to have both, because there's the old saying, elephants eat peanuts. And I've caught some really big fish on small baits. I know a lot of people that have. But I've caught some big fish on big baits too. And so it's like, is it just day by day? Is it just a matter of getting a bait in front of a fish? Who the hell knows? But I feel like if you're in a situation where you can anytime you can offer variety, offer the variety. In kayaks, you've kind of got to make a decision, because our options are, I've got, on this kayak here, I've got 2 rod holders. So, we've got a maximum of 2 things we can do at one time. Now, if you're in a boat and you've got 8 rods, 10 rods with you, well, hell, you could offer multiple different types of baits, multiple cuts, multiple sizes. Like, you can really experiment a lot. And when you do that, if you can dial something in, some days for sure it ain't going to matter. They're super aggressive. They're just hitting everything. Other days, I can't tell you how many trips I've had where I'll have one particular type of bait getting hit. Normally I always have like a head and a chunk. But like some days they only want the head bait, it seems like. Other days it seems like they only want the chunk. Some days they're only hitting a real small bait. And it's like, the more you can offer them, the better. But these biggest fish, your true trophies. And trophy size fish, that's different for everybody, right? Like, everybody's got their definition of what a trophy is. And if you go, like, I live in Tennessee. We have our, what are they called? TARP Awards, Tennessee Angler Recognition Program. Pretty sure that's what it is. Their definition of a trophy catfish, a rod here. Something's after it. Y'all get ready to reel one in here if he gets it. He dropped it. He's back after it again. Tell him to doo-doo or get off the pot. I think he's swimming off that direction with it. Let me just... No, he ain't got it. Let's fix our bait back here. The hook's turned back in the bait there where he's been messing with it. There we go. They're telling them little ones, leave it alone now. But in Tennessee, our TARP program says a trophy catfish is 36 inches. Now, personally, to me, that's a fun sizer. A 36-inch fish is a nice fish, but it ain't a trophy to me. Because I can catch a 36-inch fish on a whole lot of days throughout the year. And I feel like a true trophy I ain't gonna catch every day, every week, every month. So for me, it's gonna take a lot bigger fish to be considered a trophy. But those true trophy fish, man, the real monsters out here on the river, like, they are so big. They can eat whatever they want. I mean, especially if you take a flathead. Now, a flathead, they say a flathead can eat another fish up to 1/3 of its size. So, I mean, think about that there, folks. If you got a 100-pound flathead out here, and I would assume there's probably and somewhere on the Tennessee River, there's got to be a 100-pound class flathead. Hell, that thing in theory could eat a 30-pound carp. And probably does. And most of us catfishermen aren't fishing with that big bait. In fact, I don't know anybody that fishes with really huge baits. And when I say huge baits, I mean like baits over 5 pounds and stuff. Like, I know some people that throw out whole skipjack. But skipjack, oh, right rod. Take it, buddy. Take that thing. He's just thinks he's gonna walk off with it, don't he? I don't think so. Yeah, he says if he can't do it his way. Okay, there, he wants to play a little bit. I thought he was just gonna throw in the towel and just give up. If we wasn't gonna let him have it his way, he just gonna let me pull him in. Well, we got fish number 1. It took a little while. But we got the first one going here, folks. Old blue kitty. He's got some decent length, but skinny. All right, we got some jet skis down here. I hope they stay down there. You wanna come here, kitty? You're number 1 on the video. You wanna tell these people hi? You got any sponsors you wanna thank, kitty? He says ain't nobody gonna sponsor him. Who would want to sponsor this fish right here? I don't know, fish. Somebody, you could wear a jacket or something with a company logo on it. Look how skinny he is, though. Long fish. Real skinny. Get on. All right. Oh, hell, there's 4 jet skis. They're all coming this way. Get your middle fingers ready here, folks. Get them ready. We're going to need them. I got a feeling. Let me grab us another shad while y'all get your birds ready. All right. Yeah, they all over. I got 3 of them going one side and the other one going over here by the bank. And that's the downside of fishing in the afternoons. You get them people. I don't see them much in the morning hours. Usually people that got jet skis, they usually sleep in. I'm gonna put another gizzard shad midsection on here though. Here we go. Next bait going down. Got the skunk out. Hopefully bigger fish to come, or at least harder fighting fish. He really, I mean, for his length and size, he really didn't fight that hard. I've had some fish smaller than that just really bury this light tackle rod, be pulling line. He wasn't much of a battle. But like I was saying though, man, when it comes to trophy class fish, the biggest fish out here in the river, they can literally eat whatever they want whenever they want. And hell, it may be other catfish. I mean, I've got videos on my channel of me pulling out smaller catfish out of bigger catfish. Like you can see, like, hell, last year I pulled out it was probably I don't remember how big it was, maybe 20, 25 pound blue cat. But I pulled either a blue or a channel cat. It was half digested. I couldn't tell exactly what species it was, but I pulled it out. Hell, it was probably 14, 16-inch fish that fun sizer had eaten. So, you know, you just do the math on that. Like, well, if that was a 20, 25 pound fish that ate that, this one just got hit again. Yeah, maybe it didn't. Maybe it's just the waves made me think it got hit. But like, if you do the math on that, like, well, okay, if a 20, 25 pounder is eating another catfish that's 14, 16 inches, well, what's a 80 to 100 pounder going to be able to eat? And as catfishermen, like, we just don't throw baits that big very often, if at all. Like I said, I know guys that'll throw out whole skipjack. I've done it some. You know, use a double hook rig and throw out a whole skip. But I mean, a whole skip is 2 pounds on average, and it's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's big compared to what we normally throw, because normally I'm cutting, say, a 2 pound skipjack, I'm gonna cut him into 3 or 4 baits. So it's big compared to that, but like, it's not big compared to a 5 or 10 pound carp. And carp, buffalo, those are very common, very prevalent fish everywhere out here. Drum's another one that's a very common, prevalent fish, and it's like, if you get that big trophy class blue or flathead, and you put a potato chip in front of his face, like, and that's what you're doing, 100 pound fish compared to that little piece of gizzard shad on the right rod, or even the skipjack head on the left rod. Like, when you look at the size of the bait compared to the size of the fish, like, it ain't very big. I mean, it's like offering me or you a potato chip. Yeah, we're gonna eat it if it's there, but we ain't gonna get filled up on it. Like, we're gonna need more than that. So it's like, when you think about it from that aspect, it's like, if you can get either one of these baits right here, like, if we can get it in front of that massive fish's face, and it don't have to work for it, it don't have to go out of its way, it's like right there, easy peasy. Yeah, if you got a bowl of potato chips sitting out, you'll eat 2 or 3. You're not gonna make a meal out of it though, right? Like, if you're gonna go out of your way for food prep, it's gonna have to be a full meal, right? Well, it could very well be the same way for these catfish, and it ain't like they're just starved out here. I mean, there's food for them everywhere. And these biggest fish that hang out in the deep ledges and deep holes and deep points and all that stuff, hell, they don't have to move far to come up on a carp or buffalo or drum or a big bass or whatever. You know, they've got a lot of options down there without having to move all the way up into the shallows. So, you know, my point is, I just think that your true trophies, what I would consider trophies, and again, I'm not trying to knock you down if you've caught a 10 pounder and that's your trophy. Like, you know, every body of water is different. Everybody's personal standards are different. Hell, a 10 pounder may be huge fish wherever you're at. I mean, every body of water is different. But out here, I mean, the chance for a monster is real. Anytime you got a bait in the water, you've got a chance at it. And I just think that we probably, as fishermen, there's probably some really massive fish that just aren't tempted at all with what we oftentimes throw, unless you just get it right in their face. Which you can do. I mean, yeah, we're drifting down through here. It's very possible. We put a bait in their face, but are they going to seek it out? You know, with the, like, I guess in my mind, here's how I imagine the state record flathead being. And I would assume that every one of these reservoirs, I think the Tennessee state record, I think, is 85 pounds, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think it's 85 pounds. But I would imagine every one of our reservoirs around here has at least one state record class flathead living in it. And I would imagine it probably stays inactive most of the day, every day. And once or twice a day, it's going to come out and eat. And if it's got it a place under a tree out here that's sunk down, and it comes out and it moves up 20 yards on this ledge, and it's a massive carp for it to eat, it's probably going to eat that carp and then go back home. And it ain't going to come out again because it ain't going to have to until the next day. So it's like, I think if you just, and this is one of those experiments I would love to run, but I can't because a couple of reasons. First off, I don't have the patience to do it. Second off, it would absolutely kill this YouTube channel because, I mean, I need about 100 videos a year on this channel. And if I just went out and fished with baits that were 3 pounds and up, let's say, I ain't getting 100 videos a year, folks. Now, I don't know how many fish you're going to catch. It ain't going to be 0. I don't believe it would be 0. I believe if we went out, and probably it would be, you know, you're not going to drift with 5-pound baits. At least I don't think you're going to. I wouldn't. I would anchor and get them baits out there and just sit. I would try to fish areas that would be either places where I think fish are going to be or really where active fish might work through. But I would probably spend my time, I would say creek mouths or deep points because those are my favorite places to anchor. But you can't go wrong with deep holes certain times of the year too. But man, if you went out, let's say you had easy access to getting, oh, we're about to have easy access to a fish right here. He's hit that right rod. Has he got it? He's got it. Watch it go down. Nice takedown right there. Nice takedown. He's just kind of sitting there with it too. He ain't really pulling, he's just down there. This is another one that ain't fighting particularly hard. I'm disappointed with the fight already. Just a slow pull to take the rod down, and that's all he wants to do. He wants me to get rough with him, I guess. Get him up here. He's not going to pull back. Maybe he's saving his energy to get up here and splash around, try to get us soaking wet or something. Joke's on him. It's a little warm this afternoon. It ain't going to be a big deal if we get soaking wet. Yeah, even now we got him up at the surface. He still ain't wanting to thrash around hardly. What a disappointment. Come here. Come here. Let's get you going here if you ain't gonna show out. I got my hands on you now. Now you need to be calm. All right. He's all marked up there on his nose. Get on there, fish. Well, there's another one. Let's get us another piece of shad here. Trying to work through these bigger ones. I'd saved some of these bigger ones yesterday when we were not getting nothing but small fish. But I ain't got a lot of them. I mean, I got a lot of shad, but I ain't got a lot of big shad. Most of them are, that's a little better one. Most of them are in that kind of 4 or 5 inch range. I'll do another one just like did the other. Since we got the skipjack head, we'll just keep using the gizzard shad body sections. And if at some point, if we switch over to a skipjack chunk, we probably won't, because I like them heads. I mean, that's a big trophy bait for me as far as I'm concerned. Like, I've caught a bunch of big fish on them head baits. But we may end up putting on a skipjack body section at some point, and if we do, we'll put a gizzard shad head on this side. But it would be an interesting thing to run. Like, if I had the patience and I wasn't needing to get a bunch of videos throughout the year, it would be an interesting thing to do, especially if you had access to where you could easily get things that were, I don't know, say 3 to 5 pounds. 3 to 5, maybe 7 pounds. Drum, carp, buffalo, maybe even some bass if you're into bass fishing and whatnot, if it's legal in your particular state. Like, if you could do that, and you go out and every trip you go out, you just put out that big bait. And honestly, I don't think it wouldn't be a situation, like, even if I had a boat and could put out, more rods, I don't think I necessarily would. Because, and I'm just assuming here, but usually the biggest fish is going to be the most dominant, right? So if you've got, if you throw out a 5-pound bait, even if there are fish like the 2 we've caught so far, even if they're down there, what are they going to do? They can't do anything with it. Maybe they come up and take a bite or something, but hell, they're not eating that bait. So, like, when that big fish, that trophy class fish, when he truly decides, okay, it's time to eat, that bait's going to be there waiting on him. So I don't think you need but 1 rod in that situation. But how many fish are you going to catch throughout the year if you do that? Now, some of you out there listening, hell, that may be how you fish. And I'd be interested to hear your successes and failures with that. Like, how often are you getting bit? How many trips do you go out and get completely skunked versus the stars aligning and you being right place, right time and getting that 5-pound bait eaten? Like, I think if you did it, like, if I took the number of days and hours that I fish now and did what I'm telling you with the big bait experiment, I think most days are going to be skunks. And I wouldn't even guess what a percentage would be on that. I think if you're throwing, I think 3-pound and up baits would be the goal. But, man, I could see you popping off 8 or 10, 15 trips in a row without getting bit. I could see that happening, especially if you didn't have a lot of time to fish. Like, it would be, most of my trips, for instance, are days like today where we're going to fish for 3 or 4 hours, right? Like, you know, if that fish ain't ready to eat when you're, even if you're in the right spot and he's there, if he's not ready to eat, because them truly big fish that can eat whatever, whenever, like, you know, they're going to eat whenever they damn well please. So if you're not there at the time that they're ready to eat, well, look at this. We got something going on over here. Well, no, they're gone. That might have been skipjack. There was a bunch of surface activity a couple 100 yards from us. But anyway, I'm rambling on here, but my point is, it would be an interesting experiment if a person had the patience to do it. And I would be very interested to know, the two things I would be interested to know are, what's your batting average? Like, if you're truly just going out throwing the biggest baits exclusively all the time, like, how often are you catching something? And then I'd like to know, how many big fish are you catching throughout the year? Like, how does that compare to a person who's coming out and fishing with, say, normal, I say normal, you know, what is normal, but you know what I mean, like our average size baits, a big skipjack head and a big skipjack body section. Like, how would the person fishing exclusively big baits, how would they compare to the person who's putting in the same number of hours on the same section of river with normal size baits? I mean, obviously the person who's using normal size baits, they're going to catch more fish, certainly. But they're not going to catch big fish all the time, right? Like, some of them smaller fish can eat the heads and the chunks. And we got something on the right rod again, messing with it. There he goes. We got another one. Let's see if this one will fight a little harder. He's down there rolling around every which way. It's another blue, or a channel possibly. Hopefully we don't see none of those today. I'm bringing him up slow, but he's another one that ain't fighting very hard. He immediately started thrashing around and just started rolling, just give up down there. He knew he was whooped. He knew when me and you hook into him, he ain't getting away. Yeah, another one, a little bit smaller than the last one probably. Well, this is a good thing we've brought this light tackle rod, or we'd be still skunked right now, folks. That skipjack head got tapped a couple times there first thing, but otherwise ain't nothing messed with it. Meanwhile, a fish like that can't eat that skipjack head, he can easily eat the piece of gizzard shad. Yeah, I know what you're probably saying, Justin. It's like, well, why don't you just do like you talked about when you're in my other kayak, you know, like throw out a big bait and throw out a small bait. Swing for the fences while you've got your other rods out. And I guess you could. Yeah, I guess you could. It would just be interesting to know, like, if a person was truly just a trophy hunter, like if they didn't care about catching these smaller fish at all, like, how would their numbers compare? And the only real way to test it is just to do it. And I used to do experiments, like year-long experiments, and I've done a bunch of them through the years. But that's one that, it's one of those things, like, I talk about it, I think about it, you know, sometimes you kind of, driving down the road, you just kind of daydreaming and stuff, thinking about what you woulda, coulda, shoulda. But actually doing it in practice, it's tough, man, because the fact, when you're throwing a 3-pound, 5-pound bait out there, like, you're not going to get it eaten every day. I mean, if I come out here and we're putting that $50 size, quarter size, $50, whatever it is, size of gizzard shad on there, I'm expecting to get bit. Now, granted, I'm going to have some skunk days, but like more oftentimes than not, I promise you bring out a couple light tackle rods, smaller baits, you're going to catch something. You may not catch a big fish every day, but you pretty rarely going to get skunked, especially if you cover some water, drifting, trolling, whatever. But if you're just sitting in a deep hole, throwing out one big bait, man, if there ain't nothing there or ain't nothing there willing to eat while you're there, you're just skunked. Because even if they're smaller fish, like they're just not going to be able to do anything with that bigger bait. So, you know, it's kind of like deer hunting in a way. I'm not a hunter, but I know plenty of people who are, and they go out in the woods, they get up in their tree stand, they log a lot of hours. Oftentimes they will see deer and they'll let them go. They won't take the shot because they're waiting on the big one, right? Like they'll see the smaller deer, or sometimes they'll see a buck this year and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna let that one go. I'm gonna try to get him next year, or the following year. They let him grow. And sometimes that year over year growth will be significant. But that hunter, the person sitting in that tree stand, they've got to have the patience to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to let him go this year. I'm going to come back here next year and get him, right? And it's kind of the same thing when you're doing the big baits catfishing in a way, with the exception, like you're just not going to see the smaller fish, right? Like you're not going to see them. They're probably there, but you're just not going to have a chance at them, in a sense. So that is skipjack. I just saw him come up again right there. That's a school skipjack. That one come completely out of the water. Well, them skipjacks today, man, they were tough. I did some trolling to start. I had a couple taps, didn't hook up. I finally saw some, and they were right on the shoreline. So I started making some casts. And I got them 3, but it was very, very difficult today. Here come the jet skis again. Y'all get your bird fingers ready, just in case. Them's old people right there too, having a time of their life. I saw a guy recently, had him one of them there Sea-Doo Fish Pros. Pretty sure it's called a Fish Pro. It's the fishing model of the Sea-Doo jet ski. It's got a, well, he had the smaller model, and it didn't have the seat in the back, like the swivel seat. But the bigger model now has it's basically like a bass seat. You can sit and fish off the back. It's got a cooler, live well area there. I met a guy down at the ocean in Florida a few years ago that had one, and it was pretty cool. Look right here beside us now. There's some shad getting worked right here. They're still working them shad right there. This time of year, you start seeing these big schools of thread fins out here in the channel. Oftentimes stuff will be chasing them. Yeah, I get the camera ready, they're gonna go back down. They're out and about. Anyway, them jet skis, the fishing models of the jet skis, they look pretty cool. I've never been able to use one, but anyway, I met a guy I was taken out at a boat ramp, and he was putting in. And I asked him some questions about it and whatnot, and he seemed to enjoy it, but you'd be kind of limited on them things, what you could do. But you know, the good thing about it, I guess, if you go out and you don't have any luck fishing, you still got a jet ski to ride around, which would be a lot of fun. It's kind of how I look at kayak fishing. If I go out and I don't do any good today fishing, I still got to spend a day drifting down the river in a kayak, which is a lot of fun. We've dropped off, by the way, 52 feet. That's why I just lowered them baits down there. Yeah, them people just went by on them jet skis, kind of old. Let me give you old people some advice, by the way, from a young whippersnapper. I got water on my sunglasses here. Did y'all get any water on your face here? Did that fish splash you all on the lens on the camera? No, y'all looking good still. Let me give you old people some sage advice here from a young whippersnapper. Because I see that every time I go get a haircut, I see this. And I go to Great Clips to get my hair done. They don't pay me nothing to advertise for them on this channel. I'm just saying because that's where I go. It's cheap, it's convenient. That's where I get a haircut at. But every time I go in there, I reserve a spot online. I check in, what they call it, check in online. And when you do that, it'll pop up and be like, you're fifth in line, average wait time, 25 minutes. And I'll do that. I'll check in before I ever leave my house. That way I know when to leave my house. So like today, I get on there, I check in, it's 20-something minute wait, and I wait there 15 minutes or so at the house, and I leave, and I get to the, what do you call it? A salon? I don't even know what the Great Clips store is called. Salon, let's call it. I get there. I walk in, they say, did you check in online? I'll say, yeah. And they're like, well, have a seat. We'll get to you in a minute. And of course, when I get there, I'm like the next one. So the next person that gets done, I get to go back. So today, I had about maybe a 5-minute wait while I was waiting on them to finish up with another person and get me. And multiple people come in after me. And they ask them the same thing as they've asked me. Did you check in online? And these old people, you can see the look of bewilderment on their face, like, check in online? No. They're like, okay, well, let me get your name here. I'll get you checked in. It's about a 30, 45 minute wait. And they're like, oh, 30, 45 minute wait? Well, I'll just come back. And it's like, well, you dumbass, if you just got online, you'd known how long the wait is. Like, why is it that old people are so, like, you can't teach them technology? And you know, listen, I know a lot of this technology stuff. It's I mean, I'm at the age where I struggle. Every time I get a new phone, which I don't get a new phone every year, but, you know, every 3 or 4 years, when your battery stops holding the charge and, you know, your phone won't update anymore, you got to get the newest model. And I always struggle. Every time I get new technology, it takes me a little while to figure it out. Like, I don't like to learn new things either. But in situations like when you're getting a damn haircut, it's simple. GreatClips.com, it'll say online check-in. Push the button, put in your zip code. It'll bring in your local store, name, phone number, and once you do that once, now it's always saved. So it just prompts the information for me, and I just hit check in. That's it. It's easy. But yet every time I go there, man, it was like that today. Multiple old people come in, and they huff and puff, and then, you know, they'll be sitting there like, well, why did that person get called before me? I was here before them. Well, because they checked in online. That's why. And they just can't grasp the technology. They can't grasp the understanding of it. But it would make their lives so much easier if they would just do that online. I don't know why they're so opposed to it. But everybody that has a problem with it's age 60 and up. If it's like once you hit AARP, you can't learn any new technology. And I don't get it. I'll tell a story on my mom. So my mom, she's at that age now. She's a big fan of The Walking Dead, right? And I used to be too back in the day before it kind of got stupid. But now they've got various different variations of these Walking Dead shows. There's ones on Daryl and Carol and the other factions that split off. And I mean, they've they've milked that thing dry as far as trying to make as much money as they can off that show. But like my mom, I go down and visit my parents usually on one day on the weekends. And she'll be like, yeah, there's a marathon on today. I've watched some of them. I'm waiting to get caught up on the next show. I'm waiting for the next one to start that way. And I'm like, but Mom, you have YouTube TV. Why don't you just record the show? You know, and it's like, you show her how to do it. Or, you're going to get up and leave. You got to wait till a commercial. I'm like, you have pause. Like, you can pause live TV. It's not like in the old days. Growing up, you had to, hell, I remember we had TV as a kid. You didn't even have a remote. Like, you had to get up and go push the buttons. Had the big console TV. You know what I'm talking about? You kids today don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But in the old days, you had these massive TV. It would have a small TV screen. You'd have a 20-inch size screen. But the console for the TV it would take up the whole wall. I mean, these would be 300-pound TV sets for a 20-inch screen. It was crazy back in the day. But you'd have to get up. If you wanted to change the channel, you'd have to get up and go push it on the TV set. My first TV when I was a kid, I had an Atari. I had a black and white TV that I played Atari on, folks. Technology's come a long way. Man, it's amazing. But old people just struggle with it. And I can already tell I'm getting to that point. Like when I get a new piece of technology, man, a new app, a new phone. Last year I replaced my computer and, just setting it up out of the box and stuff. Like, it can be frustrating. But there's something that happens when you get to AARP or Medicare age that they just refuse. It ain't even that they can't learn, it's that they won't learn. They're just not going to do it. They will not, as in birds fly. I was like, what the hell is that behind me? It's birds. But they just won't do it. It's like the Great Clips thing, man. Just check in online. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go. I mean, the Great Clips where I live, it's always busy. Man, every time I go in there, it's packed. I wouldn't want to just go in there hoping for the best. I got better stuff to do. I ain't going to wait in there 30, 45 minutes on a haircut. Hell no. I'm going to get on there, and if I got a 30-minute, 45-minute wait, well, I'll just do something at the house. I got plenty of stuff I'd rather be doing. I got some stuff I need to do around the house too, by gosh. Let me tell you what I got going on. So, the county where I live sucks. Like, they're supposed to maintain the roads. They're supposed to do a lot of things. They don't. And what happens when it rains hard, I mean, I'm talking hard. Like my great-grandma, she'd call it a gully washer, because it would literally wash the gullies because it would rain so hard. When you get one of them rains at my house, the water comes down the road and comes down the hill by my neighbors, and it's causing all kinds of erosion along my fence. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse through the years, and the people up the road from me, above me, they used to have, like, it wasn't really brush, but it would be like really high grass along the bottom of the road because it was always so wet there. They couldn't really mow it. Well, they've got that under control. And since they've done that, now when you get them hard rains, it's like that area, I feel like that area used to not only slow down the water, but the water had to run differently around it. But now that all that stuff's wiped out, that water just comes right down the hill, right toward me, and it's washing everything out. So one of my projects this fall, before we go into the rainy season, is I'm gonna dig a trench from the road, because the road, it slants like this, and it slants like this from the road. So it diverts the water at an angle as it comes downhill toward my fence. I'm gonna dig a trench from the road to my fence, and I'm gonna put some blocks and some rocks in there and divert that water so that it comes down, that it goes where I want it to go through my fence. And that way it'll drain ultimately under my driveway through and it's hard for me to explain without you all visually seeing it, but that's a big project I got coming up. It's gonna take some time. The other thing I gotta do, I gotta fix my driveway. So last year, I had my driveway fixed, at least down at the bottom by the road, because again, damn rains, it washes it out down there. So I had some gravel brought in and had it fixed up real nice at the bottom of the road. And we had some leftover gravel and stuff, and so the person I'd hired to spread the gravel down there at the bottom brought the rest of the gravel up at the top and kind of fixed the top of the driveway too. So my driveway at the bottom is gravel, and then it's got an area that's paved, and then it goes to gravel again. Now, why they didn't do pavement from the road all the way up, I don't know, but that's the previous owner, who the hell knows why they did what they did. But that's the way it is. So you got gravel, pavement, asphalt, whatever, and gravel. And so up at the top, they had put more gravel in to kind of fix that area for me last fall there. Well, I guess when they did that, it changed how the water flows down the driveway when it rains real hard, because that's on a hill too. And now it runs down through there differently. And it's washing out along the side of the pavement now. And you know what's going to happen. Water's going to get up in there and wash out down the sides, and it's going to start cracking on the edges. So I'm going to get down there, and at the very bottom of the pavement, I had taken some of the asphalt in a bag. I don't know what it's actually called, but it's literally asphalt in a bag for like filling in potholes and stuff. And I made a speed bump. Well, it looks like a speed bump at the bottom of my driveway, but I made it like a triangle almost, like it's at a point, and goes off like this. So as water comes down the hill, it hits here. Some of it goes this way, some of it goes this way, and it goes off on each side of my driveway down into the little waterway that goes there. And that's worked for years until last year, when now the water flows differently. So I'm going to get some of that asphalt in the bag, and that one side of my driveway that's washing out, I'm going to just go down the side of it there and build an edge. And that way when water goes, it won't be able to get off the pavement into the grass and wash that out. Like, it's just going to run straight down the concrete all the way down. So, you know, it's not a difficult project to do. Neither one of these things are. It's just time consuming and involves a little manual labor. And it's like, if I get up early and go fishing, I could do it in the afternoons, but, oh, I'm gonna catch a fish first. Oh, he's gonna pull. Here we go. Here we go. This one's a little better. All right. All right, folks, here we go now. This one's a little better. Oh, now he's gonna run. He was doing kind of like the others, where he just sits there with it, but now he's going, buddy. He's gonna pull. This is a better one. On that piece of shad. 55 feet here. I need to lower them other bait down here in a second. All right, folks. It's so much fun on this lighter tackle, man. It don't take a big fish to have fun on this, but when you do get one that's a little better quality, I like it. And I know some of you say, well, hell, Justin, this is a medium heavy action rod. It is, but it's a different medium heavy. The one on my Golly Whopper rod over here is medium heavy too, and it's way stouter than this, way stouter. There's medium heavy means different things based on the type of rod. It's a good one, man. We're just gonna take our time with him. We're just gonna be gentle. Can't horse him. Can't horse him because of the tackle. And of course, I got 15-pound line too. So, you know, we don't want to snap that line. I do have my net with me. I've got my net here so we can get him up the surface. We'll just throw that net under him and snatch him up. The small ones, I can reach down there and grab my line and get them, but these bigger ones, can't do that. He's gonna go down and stay down, buddy. Look at that. Man, we're a ways into this fight and he's still feeling his oats, man. All right. Ate the smallest bait we got out. That skipjack head is a few feet away from this. And he chose this bait. I hope he don't get in that other line over there. The one drawback of, well, there's a few drawbacks to light tackle fishing, but one of them is that you can't really get control of the fish. So if you got multiple lines out, there's a good possibility they're going to get in it. Or if you got an anchor rope out, there's a good chance they're going to get in it. If you got an anchor rope, you're in big trouble with this because they're going to fray that line when you're using the light tackle stuff. Yeah, he is in that line right there. He ain't all wrapped up in it though. Not yet. He swam through it. He's going to be wrapped up in it by the time we get him up here. Oh, I seen the bubbles coming. I seen the bubbles. I saw bubbles and part of a tail. Let me get the net over here on this side. Get it handy here. Y'all, this is gonna be a good one, man. On our small bait on the light tackle. Nice fish. Nice fish right here. Let me try to get him back up here. Oh, oh, oh. No. Come here. Get back over here and act like somebody. Let me get you over here in this net. Got him. Okay there, folks, we got him, man. How about this? For a light line, 15-pound line, that's a #1 size shiner hook. Being good fish, buddy. We'll put up the front camera mount for this one. Yeah. Where are you hooked at? Right there? The upper part of the face. Well, give me my hook back, fish. Come on now. He definitely wasn't coming free, was he? Let me get the pliers. I don't want to get too rough with this hook because I'm liable to bend it or break it, as small as it is. There we go. All right, we'll get our mess undone here in a minute. Let me get my front camera mount here, folks. You're unprepared. Put that camera up there. Let me set you all up here. Nice. Pull that off there. Okay. Yeah, solid fun sizer. He's Another one that's, oh, quit it now. He's angry. But I mean, lengthwise, he's got some length to him. He's just real skinny fish. Nice fight though. A lot of fun, especially on the light tackle. It would have been fun even on the heavy stuff with one that was fighting like him, but way more fun and longer lasting on the light tackle. Okay, well oh, he even spit our bait out there, didn't he? No, that ain't our bait. I think that's a piece of bait. That might have been in my net for a while there, folks. That one's all dried out and stuff. Let's see what kind of damage he's done here with getting everything tangled up. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think we're going to be okay. Yeah, this ain't gonna be bad at all. If I got a piece of slime on here, I can't half see. Bear with me a second here, folks. Here, let me put y'all on the chest so you ain't staring at me, watching me get a tangle. Y'all can help me try to see this, which direction I need to. There we go. I need to go that way with it. These dang blue cats, they get down there and spin. You know how they are. They get down there and spin and start rolling, and they wrap everything up. What we need is a big fish to come eat this head bait here while we got this going on. Here we go. Yeah, we about got it now. There we go, crisis averted. Problem is, we've drifted over here. The wind has pushed us to the other side of the ledge. Let's do this right fast. I'm gonna reel this bait up. We're gonna just make a quick run back up river here. I want to switch this head bait out. Let's put on a fresh skipjack head, and we'll put on another piece of gizzard shad, and we'll come right back through the area where we just got this one. That wasn't a bad fish, man. Solid fun sizer. See, that was one there. And granted, I don't have a measuring board here in this kayak to get a length on, but I'm sure he was over 36 inches. So for TWRA purposes, wildlife purposes, he would be considered a trophy, right? He's a tarp fish. So if we had a picture of that fish on a measuring board, we could send it in to the state office there and $5. Well, it used to be $5. It may be more than that now. I don't know. But nevertheless, you can send that fish and a check in for a certain amount of money. It used to be $5. I don't know what it is now. And they'll send you a certificate for your trophy catch. Now, is that, I mean, that's a trophy fish to somebody, but out here, really, is that a trophy fish? No. Because there's so many fish that are so much bigger than that. But it is interesting. That fish there, it could have definitely eaten this big skipjack head over here, but it chose the smaller of the two bait options that we were given. So interesting, very interesting. But we're going to put on another skipjack and just spruce it up a little bit here. Like I said, my plan is to ultralight fish tomorrow. So I'm gonna throw out our shad that we have left today. I'll probably keep if we have any skipjack left, I'll keep them because they'll keep a little better. Because I'm gonna ultralight fish tomorrow, and I may catfish the following day, or I may go carp fishing, I don't know. I got a lot of fishing I want to be doing right now is the thing. Only so many hours in the day. All right, so down this one goes again. I'm gonna get on the pedals here. That wind is moving us as I drop the bait down. I want these things vertical right under us. And here's something else I want to touch on too with this. This is one of those things that some people will have a strong opinion on, but I don't know the answer to it. Hold on a second. Let me grab another shad. So, for catfishing purposes, I have always used heavier tackle, right? Because I'm going after bigger fish. The opportunity's there for bigger fish. So, there's a big shad. The opportunity being there for big fish, like you want to be geared up and be ready for it. Well, if you have a situation like we do today where you've got bright sunny skies, you've got relatively clear water, does having the heavier tackle, heavier line on that other rod, does it deter bites? I'm gonna feel around on this light leader here. I think we're okay. I think it feels okay. It's slimed up, but it don't feel rough at all. Hook point's still good. Let's get this other piece of shad on here. But you know, like you take bass fishing, for instance. When people are fishing in really clear water situations, the finesse presentations is oftentimes what it takes to get bit. You gotta downsize your baits, downsize your line, and that's what it takes in those clear water situations. Well, we oftentimes, where I fish, have these clear water situations. And, you know, the thought always is that catfish aren't line shy at all, and you say that because, well, you catch a bunch of them on the heavier tackle. And guys running limb lines and trot lines and stuff like that, I mean, these fish, they're hitting big hooks and they're hitting thick lines and stuff like that. And so you're catching them on it and you think, well, you know, catfish aren't line shy, because why would you think that they were when you're catching them regularly on like 80-pound leaders here I've got on my left rod? But then you get in situations like today where you've got bright sunny skies, relatively clear water. You know these fish can probably not only see the shadow of your kayak as you drift over, or boat if you're in a boat, but you can assume that they're probably going to have a good look at your bait and your line and possibly your hook and all that too. So if they can see your line and your bait and all that, is it possible that the line size and hook size could make a difference? Is it possible? Yeah, I don't know. I guess that would be one of those things that we would probably figure out over time. If you fished enough clear water situations and you had a heavy rod and a lighter tackle rod, and the lighter tackle rod got hit more, maybe you could draw that conclusion. But it's like, you know, every other type of fishing, when you're in clear water, you see it down there in the ocean a lot, man. Guys talk about, you know, if they're using a 15-pound leader, they're getting hit. They go up to a 30-pound leader to try to keep from breaking off as much. They can't get a bite, so they have to downsize. And it's like, the reason for that is because it's the clear water that they're in, right? And fish can see it. So I don't know, man. I've got a lot of questions. I don't claim to be an expert at all. I have said, you've heard me say, and I've said it with confidence, so it must be true, it must be at least believable, that catfish aren't line shy. And they're definitely not as line shy as some species, because, I mean, you can catch them on 100-pound leaders. Hell, some guys use bigger than that for them. I mean, there's been a lot of times I've been using baits the size that we're using on the light tackle rod, and I've had them on a big 10-aught size hook because that's what I've had tied on. And you still catch some fish. But are you catching fish because of what you're doing, or are you catching fish in spite of what you're doing? That's the question. Like, could you be catching more and bigger by doing something else, or is it just you got your baits in front of such active, aggressive fish that they just didn't care what you were doing? You know, that happens sometimes, man. You start having some success doing something. And so I talked about this yesterday on the last video for regular viewers on drifting, just free drifting, versus trying to follow the contours like we're doing today. And I talked about how when I got started drifting, I'd just come out here and just drift down the river, and I caught fish. And I caught some big fish doing that. But when I got on to Buck Perry's teachings, and I started paying attention to where I was at on these ledges and stuff, and following the contours, trying to follow the break lines, when I started doing that, I started catching more fish. And I started catching bigger fish more frequently. And it was really, did our skipjack head get hit? I thought something bumped us. Maybe I imagined it. But it's like, when I was fishing, just free drifting, I was catching enough fish and getting big fish frequently enough to think that I was doing things the best way I could have possibly been doing them. I was getting positive feedback on what I was doing through catching fish and catching big fish. But when I when I got on to the Buck Perry teachings, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot. And over time of doing it, I'm like, wow, okay, man, this is a big difference. Now I'm catching, like I said, I'm catching more fish, I'm catching big fish more frequently. But I could have just as easily just went on doing what I'd always been doing and wouldn't have known that I could have possibly done any better. And so it's kind of the same thing with the lighter tackle and lighter gear, smaller hooks and stuff like that. It's like everybody I know that catfishes uses big stout rods, heavy line, heavy leaders, big hooks. And it's like, does everybody do that because that's what's most appropriate? Because that's what's best? Or did one person kind of start doing that, and then somebody follow their lead, and then somebody follow the next person's lead, and then now we're at a point in time where it's just kind of the cultural norm that when you go catfishing, my gear on the left here, like, that's what you use. That's just the standard, right? It's a cultural thing now. But nobody knew getting into the sport. Nobody questions it. Like, oh, I'm new. I got to buy some gear. You go out and you buy the stout rods and heavy line and big hooks. Nobody thinks twice about it. And so I think it's good periodically to just kind of take a step back and try to approach things, even though you maybe have some experience or knowledge about a particular topic or thing. Like, try to look at it from a different perspective. Try to look at it from an outside view, or look at it as if you were new. Or do what I've talked about a lot in other videos, is the George Costanza approach. And some of you all are tired of hearing this. It'll be a rerun. Oh, we're right rod. No, he just let go. I'll hold it there a second, see if he'll come back for it. He may have got our bait. Let's see if we got any bait left on there. I hope he didn't get it. I ain't got too many more than big shad left. No, it's still on there, still hooked good. But my favorite, I used to be a big Seinfeld, I'm still a big Seinfeld fan. I don't watch it very often anymore, but I've probably seen every episode multiple times. I can damn near recite it word for word about every episode. I've seen them so many times. But my absolute favorite episode ever on Seinfeld was the episode where George Costanza come to the realization that every decision he had ever made in his entire life had been wrong. So if he would just do the opposite of what his natural instinct was, it would have to be right. And so George starts, he starts doing the opposite of whatever he thinks he should do. It changes his life for that episode, right? I was like, that's freaking brilliant, man. And I can't tell you how many times where I've had a problem or I've been working on something, and, I just get stuck with it. I can't figure it out, or I can't make any progress or whatever, not getting the results I want. I will take the George Costanza approach, and I will think, okay, let me take what I'm doing and let me just do the exact opposite. And oftentimes it won't work out. But every once in a while, it does. And I'll tell you a prime example of how this worked out for me fishing. The year was 2019, circa 2019. I ran a year-long experiment. I used to do this back before this YouTube channel took off, and I kind of got pigeonholed into having to get 100 plus videos a year done. Boy, a big splash beside us. I have no idea what that was. Couldn't get turned around in time. Something come up right there, man. 20 feet away from us, taunting us. But let me check these baits. We're 50 feet deep here. Let me just make sure I'll raise them up just a little bit. But anyway, 2019, I decided I was going to do a year-long experiment where I changed how I fished. For those of you that's been with me a long time, you used to hear me get out on these videos and say, keep your baits on good structure and keep moving. Because that's how I like to fish. I like to drift. I like to troll. These damn jet skis, they couldn't both go on one side of us. They got to each pick a side. Did you hear him hollering like a damn idiot? I don't know what it is. People get on a jet ski, they suddenly turn into a moron. Feel like they got to scream and holler. Idiots. Stupid people everywhere you go. The thing about getting on a jet ski, your IQ immediately drops 45 points. Anyway, I had always been like, with the mindset, keep moving. Even when I would anchor fish, I would try to cover as much water as possible throughout the day. I'd sit on a spot, throw out baits, give it 30 minutes, you don't get bit, reel up, move on to the next spot. That's how I'd always been. And that was kind of the mantra of a lot of catfishermen, just, move constantly. Try to, even when you're anchoring, hit new spots. Like if they're not there or they're not biting, move on to the next place. And, when you're in a boat, that's not the worst philosophy to have because you can cover a lot of water quickly. But when you're in a kayak and you're moving somewhere between 3 to 4 miles an hour, like you're just not capable of covering great distances quickly. If you're moving 3 miles an hour, it takes 20 minutes to go a mile. 4 miles an hour takes 15 minutes. So you got to reel up your line, pull your anchor, spend 15 minutes or more going down river or up river, whatever, to the next spot, re-anchor, rebait, cast out. Like, you spend a big portion of your day traveling spot to spot, right? So in 2019, I was like, I'm going to do the opposite of what I've always been doing. Instead of trying to cover as much water as possible, I'm going to cover as little water as possible. And instead of trying to hit as many spots in a day, I'm going to fish one spot through the day. Instead of drifting and trolling and trying to cover a great distance of water, I'm not going to move at all. So every day, 2019, when I would go fishing, I'd pick a spot. I'd anchor down, and that was my spot for the duration of the trip. And I tried to pick places. I hit a bunch of different places, but I'd try to pick places like creek mouths and points and anything different on a ledge and stuff that would be places ideally that you would have fish working through periodically. But it was a complete opposite of how I had always approached catfishing. It was the George Costanza approach. If everything I've ever done was wrong, then I should just do the opposite and it would have to be right. And it was one of those times where I did the exact opposite and it worked out. Because still to this day, 2019 was the best year of fishing I've ever had. I caught more big fish that year than in any year before. And so it was a phenomenal year. And I've kind of gotten away from that a little bit because one thing I did learn by doing that experiment, running it out for an entire year, all 4 seasons, was I did kind of learn that while I busted a bunch of big fish winter and through the spring, once we got into summer, I wasn't doing as good. And then in the fall, the bite kind of picked up for me again. And what I kind of learned by that was that in the summer months, I do better really getting on the move, trolling, drifting, if I got current, stuff like that. But in the cooler months, I do better anchored. Oh, hell, now we got wakeboarder over here behind us, folks. I hope they move along. I hope they're not just going to be up and down right here where we're at. Them wakeboarders are the worst. Them people ought to be taxed heavily. They should pay, every year we got to pay, us fishermen, we got to pay a fishing license fee. And then if you got a boat or a kayak with a motor, you got to pay a fee for your tags on there. I feel like these wakeboarders, they ought to have to pay a huge fee because they do so much damage. Not only just damaging my mood by pissing me off when they're around when I'm trying to fish, because you can't suspend fish with this. If you're just bouncing up and down nonstop, you ain't gonna catch diddly doo-doo. But they also cause a lot of damage along the shoreline, the erosion and stuff. And I feel like they ought to be paying for that damage. That shouldn't, when TWRA, when they do these projects where they're fixing the shoreline areas and bringing in rocks, putting riprap, stuff like that shouldn't be coming out of the funds that me and other fishermen are paying with our fishing license. That should be coming out of the wakeboarders and houseboaters, the ones who are the reason they need to put in the riprap to begin with. That's my thoughts on it. I can't stand them people. But yeah, to sum it up, the original talk there before we got sidetracked, George Costanza, man. If everything I've ever done was wrong, just do the opposite and it would have to be right. And You'll be surprised if you take on that philosophy. And it don't have to be fishing related. Hell, it could be anything in your life. Anything you're struggling with or not getting the results you want, do the exact opposite. And just see what happens. Sometimes it won't work out. But boy, you'd be surprised at how many times it will work. Or while you're trying that, it will change your way of thinking. It'll change your perspective. And you will oftentimes get to the answer you were trying to get to. And you'll figure out whatever it was you were stumped on. So, it was, of all of the TV shows and movies I've watched throughout my entire life, you want to talk about the most impactful? It was probably that episode of Seinfeld. Has had a greater impact on my life than any other TV show or movie ever. And it's not like I watch a lot of shows that are going to be super impactful, right? Like, I watch football. This time of year, I pretty much watch football. But still, I've watched a lot of movies and TV shows in my life. But yeah, that one episode of Seinfeld, I reference that multiple times per year because I'll literally do, just a few months ago, and this video was for my channel members. I do extra videos and stuff for my channel members, behind the scenes, or if I'm experimenting with something, or oftentimes I'll film my bait runs. I'll do videos exclusively for them, and I had done an experiment a few months ago with my native kayak, and I mounted the live scope on there. And it's one of those situations, again, like, I've tried a bunch of different live scope mounts and ways of doing it, and I've not really been satisfied with any of them. I've not been real happy with how any of them have worked on the kayak or whatnot. And I was like, I'm going to George Costanza it. I'm going to do the exact opposite of everything I've tried. And so I did. I rigged it up the exact opposite. And I took it out. And that particular situation, it didn't work out. But still, it was another one of those scenarios where it was a perfect opportunity to at least approach the problem from a different way. Change my perspective, get a different viewpoint on it. And sometimes you can get pigeonholed, man. I'm going to lower these baits down. We're 57 feet here. We're dropping off. Sometimes you can kind of get pigeonholed into thinking a certain way or doing things a certain way, like with the culture here and the Catfish Gear and all that. Like, everybody starts doing things the same way, and that's just how it's done. And somebody from outside will come in and look at it from a different viewpoint and be like, well, why are you doing it that way? Or shouldn't you do this? And it'll be something that you didn't even think about. You have never even considered. But because they haven't been in this world, like they haven't been consumed by the culture, they can see something that just should be super obvious to everybody. So, yeah. Good news is, though, them jet skis have moved on. The wakeboarder appears to have moved on. So hopefully we can get back to having some peace and quiet again, other than me flapping my gums. And getting a swig of water here. I'm a little parched, folks. It's a little warm out here today. Cool this morning, warm afternoon. A little windier through here too. The river kind of opens up here. You can see, got a big island here. Main river channel goes this way. You got a secondary channel that goes that way. You got a creek over here, which I launched in. And it's kind of open, exposed right through here, and the wind's blowing, so we're in the wind a little bit here. Still ain't bad though. Oh, there's some more fish over there along the shoreline. You won't be able to see them though. I don't know if them are skips or white bass. Could be either way. They are busting all on that shoreline over there though. Well, we know there's, if nothing else, we know there's some food source here for these fish. They are definitely not going hungry if they're in this area. They're going hungry on that skipjack head though. We can't feed that thing to nothing. We'd be skunked if we was just out here fishing with the skipjack so far. Well, we could have brought another light tackle rod today too. Put that skipjack head on it. That's probably the real answer that I need to do is just when I'm doing the light tackle stuff, throw on one of them big head baits or a big hand-sized chunk, you know, and do it on the light tackle rod. I did that one day. It was the day the buzzards ate my truck. I'm still pissed about that, man. I think it's $846 damage them buzzards caused. I drove down south a little ways and was meeting up with Daniel, Catfish Sumo, and I ain't fished at that launch much in the past, but it's apparently, I've learned since then, it's notorious for buzzard activity. And I got there and went ahead and left, got on the water because Daniel was running late, and he gets there and sends me a picture of these buzzards all over my truck. I'm like, Daniel, get them damn things off my truck, man. Try to shoo them along. Well, we got back, and not only had they crapped all over everything, but they had ate the rubber, the seal around my sunroof. And so it ended up being $846 daggone dollars. I was so pissed. That's the second time they've got me. They got my car the first time, and they ate the trim around the windshield and windshield wipers. Boy, and I've talked to some other people that they've damaged vehicles on too, and they'll cost you some money, man. Them buzzards, like I don't know what makes them pick out one vehicle over another, but they'll be 20 buzzards all on one vehicle in the parking lot, and they'll just pick at anything rubber. They'll just chew it up. So obnoxious. Anyway, that particular day, I had started out, I took the heavy rods with me, and I took the light tackle both, and my plan was I was going to fish that day with the heavy tackle and try to get a video, try to get some big fish, and then I was spend the last 30 minutes to an hour or whatever of my trip doing light tackle stuff. Well, that section of the river was just loaded with snags. I just kept getting hung up over and over and over again. Like I was just non-stop snags. And so we're into the trip a little ways, and I'd only caught one. I'd had one fish, and it was a big one. But I had that one, and I had another takedown on the heavy tackle. Meanwhile, I'd been snagged numerous times to the point like I'd had to go back and try to pop it free. I'd lost one rig, and I was just frustrated with it. So I had my lighter tackle rods that, again, I was going to probably spend last 30 minutes of the trip messing around with. I was like, you know what, hell with it. I'm going to just do this right now, and I put the bigger baits on the lighter tackle rods, and I ended up catching a few more fish doing that. And it was a lot of fun until I got back to the ramp and saw my vehicle had been destroyed by the damn buzzards. And to be a doll, I took it up there to the dealership, and I was the third vehicle up there that week that had had buzzard damage, and it had been different bodies of water each one. It wasn't like it was the same ramp or anything. It was 3 different bodies of water. But all the same thing, man. They just get on there and they eat the rubber. I don't know if it's something in the smell of it. Because, I mean, them buzzards, they do serve a purpose. on planet Earth here. Like they eat the roadkill. Like they're kind of the Mother Nature's trash disposal, right? Like you run over Bambi or a raccoon or a possum or something, buzzards come and eat it, clean it up. They clean up the roads. So they have to have a pretty good sense of smell to be able to figure out where the dead stuff is to go eat, right? So I would assume there's something in that rubber, some smell that it's putting off that's attractive to them. Has to be. And I've had I can't remember what it was that got chewed up. But it was either squirrels or mice got some wires in a car a few years ago, and I was told at the dealer then that the coating of them wires had some soy in them, so the varmints, they're attracted to that soy, and they'll chew it up, chew through it. And I'm wondering if it's something like that with the rubber seals and the buzzards, if it's like it's a smell or something that they can detect that's would seem like it's a food for them. Because, I mean, they will literally just pick it apart. Oh, our head bait's something's after it. Just a tap. That ain't the one we want. The fish we want will just inhale that skipjack head and just bury that rod. That's what we want. I can actually see on the graph right there, you can see where he's come up. And we've got down here in this hole, and you can see I've kind of slid off the path that we were on. I'm not hugging that brake line as closely now. I'm just kind of drifting down as the wind pushes. I've just let it drift down to kind of get down in the center of this hole. And I'm going to do that until we get on out here past it. And then the depth will come up as we come out of this hole. But I'm seeing a few marks there. Probably need to check our baits here. We're 59 feet deep. I probably need to lower them down a little bit, make sure we're near bottom again. Gotta make sure your baits are where you think they are. Well, just like that. I just lowered that bait down and he hit it. There he goes. There he goes. All right. I just lowered that thing down. You saw me do it. I get down with the other rod and this one's bent over. That's another one that's going to stay down a little bit. All right now. That's the thing right here, man. You get if we hook into a 50+ pound fish at some point, and at some point we're going to, just statistically speaking. I mean, we spend enough time with this light tackle, it's going to happen. It's going to take a while. Like, we're just going to have to be at that thing's mercy, getting it up. We'll just have to take our sweet time with it and play it out. Now this one here, it ain't going to be that 80-pound monster, but it does feel like a decent fish. It's better than some of them we've caught, that's for sure. Down here in this hole. I'm hoping there's a big flathead down here, man. That's what I want today. I want a big flathead. And I'd like to get it on this rod. If I had my drethers and I could pick, I'd pick it on the light tackle rod. Definitely had better success today so far with these hooks. Yesterday I was using the mosquito hooks, 3/0 mosquitoes. And I just kept having fish. Boy, he's going crazy down there. I felt him rolling every which way. There's some bubbles coming up. I just kept missing fish yesterday. They'd take the rod down, and that's another good one right there, man. Another fun sizer. We'll get our net over here on this one. But I just kept missing fish, so last night I tied on these shiner hooks, and I went with a smaller size. I've been using 3/0 size shiner hooks. But I had some number 1s too, and I was like, I'm gonna try the smaller one. I'll show you these hooks here in a minute. I got some more in my life jacket here. I'll show you what I've been using on the light tackle stuff. I'm still just not set on a preferred hook yet. I don't know what the best ones to use. I definitely don't like the circle hooks for the lighter tackle. There's too much give in the rod, too much give in the kayak. I'm just not getting, I wasn't getting good hookups at all with the circle hooks. I definitely want a different style of hook. Yeah, it's a good one. This is a good one, especially on this tackle, buddy. We'll get him back up here, and we're gonna try to get him in this net. If y'all's a fishing partner worth a damn, you'd net him for me. I don't know why y'all won't ever net a fish for me. Here I did, brought this net out here. Least you could do would be scoop him up in it. Oh, get in that net. Get in that net. There he is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Another good one right there, buddy. Another good fish. Now, why did this fish eat that small piece of gizzard shad versus the much fresher skipjack? Is it the line? The lighter tackle? Is it? Is it the bait? Who knows? I don't know the answer to it, folks. I know I can't get this thing spun around to see where that, oh, there's a hook. Well, that thing's in there good. That's been one of my concerns with using like this one here, a number 1 size hook. It's like, how are you going to get behind the tooth patch of a big fish? But we did on that one. Let me hold him up. Y'all set up there a minute while I get me some pictures of this fish. Okay. All right. Hey, don't flop, fish. Don't do it. Another fun sizer, man. Hell of a battle on that light tackle stuff. I'm into the light tackle, man. I'm into it. Get on out of here. Oh, come up here and splash me like that. Gizzard shad body sections on a 15-pound fluoro leader. Outperformed the skipjack head. How many fish is that now? 5? 4, 5, 6 fish? I don't know. I lost count. I wasn't really counting. But we ain't got diddly poo on the heavy rod. We'd still be skunked on it right now. I mean, maybe these, at least the 2 bigger ones we've got, it's possible that if we didn't have any other bait options for them other than the skipjack, the bigger on the bigger tackle, it's possible that they come and eat that. Well, I think I cut that one yesterday. Let me find one I ain't cut. We've about used our biggest shad here, I think, folks. That's all right. We'll get one of these here. We'll get one of these and just cut the tip of the tail and the head, and we'll still try to have a decent sized chunk of it. But it's like, that fish there that we just caught, perfectly capable of eating the bigger bait, but he didn't. He chose this one. Why? Why is it? Was he just not wanting a bigger bait, or did it have something to do with the size of the tackle? And again, they're going to be able to see it down there with the light, as light as it is in a clear water. I would assume there's some light down there. and they're going to be able to get a look at the bait. Maybe the small bait, small hook and tackle, I mean, maybe that made the difference. I don't know. I truly don't know, folks. It's just all speculation. But when you have a situation like we've had today where we've caught a few fish and they've all come on this bait versus the skipjack head, like, we're not even really getting that thing hit much. We've had it hit a couple times where smaller fish have come up and chewed on it, pecked on it and stuff. That's certainly to be expected. Well, smaller fish, just because they can't eat the whole bait and the hook, like, they'll still come up and take a swipe at it, take a bite at it and stuff. But like, even if you just look at how many times that rod, the light tackle rod's been hit, compared to how many times our big tackle rod's been hit, it's been overwhelmingly majority of the action on the light tackle. I mean, overwhelming majority. So, you know, take it for what you will, but I mean, it's very well possible right now we're still skunked if we come out here with heavy tackle and big baits only today. It's very possible we're still skunked. Oh, I was going to show you them hooks. I got them here in my pocket. So here's another pack of them too, I think. Yeah, here's what I've been using lately. I've been trying a few different kinds. So these are the ones I was using yesterday. These are Owner 3/0 size mosquito hooks. And I've had some success with them and was liking them up until yesterday, where I missed, I don't know, 8 or 10 fish probably. So I thought, well, I'll try some different days. These are the ones I was using, the Gamakatsu Shiner Hook, SE, whatever that means, 3/0 size. I had been using those in some recent videos and kind of indifferent on them. I caught some fish, missed some fish, either way. These are the ones, I've got some swivels in this pack of hooks here too. But the Shiner Hook SE size 1, that's what we've got on here today. And when you compare, let me set these down here. I'm going to show you the number 1 compared to the 3/0. There ain't much difference in size. When you look at these two hooks, again, here is the number 1 and here's the 3/0. The hook gap, man, it ain't much difference at all in them. I'm trying to get them lined up here. Like, it's not very much different, but, and you're not going to be able to tell with this action camera, it can't really zoom or nothing, but the diameter is significantly smaller on the number 1 versus the 3/0. So I think it's not so much the gap of the, you know, the hook here, it's the diameter really with the increased size. And I've also got a 5/0 size here too that I had bought, which I haven't used these, I don't think. Maybe I used them one day. But same deal, like there's not much difference really as far as the hook gap goes in those, but the diameter of the wire of the hook is much more in the 5/0 size than the 3/0 and the number 1. So again, this is just kind of a work in progress for me. I'm just experimenting and trying to figure out what the best hook is going to be for me and my needs, and just trying some different kinds here. The other hooks here that I have, I've got a number 1 size mosquitoes, and I've got these, I don't like these at all. The 2/0 size Gamakatsu Finesse Wide Gap, really don't like these. I don't think they're, I haven't gotten good hookups at all with these. I miss a lot of fish with those. So I'm pretty well done with these. The Shiner hooks, the mosquito hooks, they've still got some possibility. And I'll probably get some other types of hooks too and just play around with. Lord Almighty, we've drifted over here to this ledge while I've been showing you this crap. Here, let's do this. Bear with me a second here, folks. We've drifted over here to the other side. I wanna just run. I wanna do two things. I wanna go back up in this hole a little bit and come down it at a different angle. I wanna come right down the center of it. And since we've had all this success with the gizzard shad midsection, when we get back up here, I'm gonna put on a midsection of the skipjack. I hate not having a big skipjack head out when we have the option of it, because I've caught so many big fish on the skipjack head. But at the same time too, I've got to know, is it just they're not interested in the skipjack head? Is it the heavy tackle that's turning them off? I don't know. We're gonna put on a skipjack body section up here. Let's just run upriver here just a little bit. I'm not gonna go up too far, but I wanna go up here just above the deepest part of this hole. We'll drift right down the middle of it and put on a skipjack midsection, see what happens. Did y'all get water all over? Okay, you're good. I have to check, because you never know when one of these fish has splashed water all over your face. You need to start carrying a squeegee with you. That way you can just squeegee the lens when fish splashes you. Getting my workout in here today. I've actually done my workout. That's another thing I'd done at home before I come out here, because I knew I was going to be getting home late from fishing. I normally work out in the evenings, so I did my workout earlier today. So kind of feeling it in my legs a little bit, getting out here and pedaling, having already done so many squats today. I actually took my Hobie Lynx out this morning and took it on the bait run to get the skipjack, and then bring this one out for the catfishing. This kayak here, with the way the wind's blowing today, it's fine. The Lynx would be blowing around all over the place in this kind of wind. I love the Lynx, but it just, on windy days, and it don't take much wind to get that thing moving. It's a little bit more of a challenge to fish at the speed you want to fish. Like, you just get blown around so quickly in it. All right, we ain't gonna go up much further here. I'm gonna go maybe another 50, 100 yards up here. And then we're gonna cut a piece of that skipjack and come right back down through here. We're just gonna kind of go down the middle this time. All right. Let's see what the body section will do for us. I'm gonna leave the gut pocket intact and everything too. I'm gonna have a larger size chunk out there. See what happens. We'll either get bit or we won't, but we ain't having no interest in that skipjack head, so can't hurt. Can't hurt to try. Meanwhile, we'll still have the lighter tackle with the gizzard shad on there. Gizzard shad I've been able to get them pretty easily lately. I've got one particular creek I keep hitting. It's been loaded with them, and it's real easy for me to access. So I just go down there, load up, and get a couple days worth of shad, and then, you know, hit it when I need it, since it's been so reliable. All right, we got the first bait down. Here goes the next one. The sun is about to get behind them trees over there, and that'll hopefully keep the shadow from being so intense. I had read something a long time ago that catfish were fearful of shadows in tanks that they had studied, like smaller catfish they had done some study with. If there was a shadow went over the top of the tank, they would hide. And who knows? I mean, those were smaller fish that they were studying. Does that translate as they get older and bigger and become I mean, really, the blues and flatheads both, they are the apex predators out here. I mean, nothing, once they get above, well, even the biggest fish we've caught today, what's going to eat them? Maybe the biggest flathead out here, like that's it. So they have no predators. There's nothing for them to fear. So when they're young, when they're small, and they see a shadow go overhead, well, hell, they're on the menu. It could be a big fish, could be a bird. A lot of things can take them out when they're young, but big fish, I don't know if it translates or not. But I'm always conscientious of it. On bright sunny days, like, is my kayak putting off a shadow? And I think a kayak putting off a shadow isn't necessarily as big a deal as, say, a big boat, because, I mean, the profile of a kayak ain't much different than a log floating downriver in a lot of instances, right? I mean, it's not a very wide platform, and the fact that it's plastic, it's not producing a lot of sound, even on a choppy water kind of day, like it's not making a lot of noise. Whereas you take an aluminum boat, you take a big Sea Arc boat, you know, that's the popular boat nowadays, 24, 26 foot, however long they are. Well, that's a big platform, big shadow that's going over. Plus the water splashing on that aluminum hull, it makes more noise. And sound travels through water faster than it does air. So, you know, it's just one of those things to think about. Like, we always assume fish aren't line shy, they aren't worried about the noises and stuff like that, because you'll be out in a big boat and catch fish right under you. But, again, did you catch fish because of what you're doing or in spite of what you're doing? Who knows? I do know this, though, like, for other fish, it matters. It matters a lot. Like, when I went with my ultralight fishing, Randy Goad, Trout Magnet Man YouTube channel, he was my inspiration for going to 2-pound test line on my ultralight setup. And he had said, man, you go down 2-pound line, you're going to catch more fish. And prior to that, I'd used 4-pound line, and before that, I'd been one of them people that would use even heavier line on the ultralight. But just going from 4-pound to 2-pound, I noticed an increase in my catches. I started catching more fish. And of course, it's certainly easier to cast the lighter lures and jigs and stuff with the 2-pound versus the 4-pound. But I noticed an increase in catches right away. And I think that's just because the lighter line, it's not only less visible, but also too, your lure, your bait, it's going to act different. Like right now, our bait's down there. We're drifting along these pieces of cut bait where they're working their way down river here with us. when the kayak moves, and the wind hits us, boat wake hits us, whatever, and that causes us to move, which causes our baits to move. The bait on the light tackle rod acts different than the bait on our heavy tackle rod, because that 80-pound line is much stiffer. It's thicker, you know, it's stiffer, and it's just going to be different. Now, does that make a difference? I don't know. It does on the ultralight stuff. For sure it does. So it's just, it makes a difference in saltwater with those guys. I've talked to some of them about, you know, the leader size and whatnot. It makes a difference with them. I've seen it firsthand experience with my ultralight fishing. But yet with catfishing, we're always like, ah, hell, they're not line shy. It don't make a damn bit of difference. It don't matter. Put out the heaviest line and biggest hooks you want. I don't know. Now, I'll tell you this, like if we did the experiment like I was talking about earlier, where you're using 3-pound, 5-pound, 7-pound baits, in that situation, I'm definitely going to be using the heavy stuff. Because, I mean, anything you catch is going to be big enough to snap the lighter line for sure. But you're also going to need to get, you're going to need to kind of rough that fish, get rougher with it than, say, if you're, you know, vertical fishing with light tackle. If we're anchor down and we've got a bait out in front of us, I don't know that you could cast a 3-pound bait. That's probably not possible, but like we could go place that bait where we want it and then come back and anchor above it, right? I want to be able to rear back on that fish with the heavier tackle, because whatever it's coming out of to come eat, it's probably, especially a flathead, it's going to try to go back to it. That tree, that log, rock pile, whatever it's down there, whatever's home for that fish, when it eats that bait and realizes, hey, something's not right here, it's going to try to go back to it. And I want to be able to try to steer it out of there. So I would definitely want the bigger hooks, bigger tackle in that situation. But out here, when we're vertical fishing like we are now, like, you know, we're kind of on top of the fish. We still, I mean, the light tackle, we're not getting control of it. If it goes down and goes home, like, we're just out of luck. But if we get a fish that's working up and down these ledges, you know, hopefully we're not going to be around something that it's going to be able to get in and break us off. I did break off one fish yesterday, a little small fish too. He snapped my leader in half. I must have had a weak spot in it or something. But I mean, with the lighter leader, like, you can catch big fish. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been ultralight fishing with my 2-pound line and caught a 8 or 10-pound drum, or hooked into a bass, or hell, a few months ago I hooked into a big carp, and I ended up losing him at the side of the kayak, but hell, I fought him about 30 minutes and done it on 2-pound line, man. I played him out. You just got to take your time, use your drag and your reel, and fight the fish versus just winching him in. So it's doable. The difference really with the catfish and some of your toothy critters, like muskie would be one that comes to mind, because of their teeth. Like, depending on how they eat your bait, it could cause problems with your line over the course of a long fight. Like, say you hooked a muskie and the fight prolonged, it took a while. If the line is around them teeth and is rubbing throughout the fight, it's going to get abrasion, it's going to get weakened, probably break. Same thing with the catfish. Like, if it eats it, if it inhales that bait and the hook's like on in the mouth, and the line, as that fish pulls and thrashes and rolls, it's rubbing on that tooth patch, which is, I mean, it's like sandpaper on some of these catfish, sometimes rougher than sandpaper, depending on the particular fish. Like, it's going to really wear through that line quickly. So every time I'm catching a fish on the light tackle, I'm feeling for my leader. I'm feeling just to see if it's messed up or not. If it is, we're going to replace it, because I don't want to lose a fish because of the line snapping. So I've been replacing these leaders pretty frequently, and that's a change for me. Like the heavy stuff over here, man, that leader there on that one, it'll probably be a month or two before I replace that thing. Like, I'm not the type of person that's proactive about that stuff usually. I usually am very lackadaisical, but I'm having to be with the light tackle stuff. Like, I've got to check my line, I got to check my hooks. You get these smaller hooks, man, the hook point is so fine on them, and you're oftentimes driving into that tooth patch on the catfish. Like, they're going to get dull quicker than some of your bigger hooks. So you just got to kind of be mindful about it and whatnot. But I'm really enjoying the light tackle stuff. I've had a lot of fun with it recently. Sometimes I try stuff and I get really into it in the beginning, and then after you've done it a little while, you're like, yeah, okay. It's kind of like when I first got Live Scope. Super into it when I first got it. I was like, man, this is so cool. And then you get 3 months into it, 6 months into it, I'm like, ugh. It's a nice novelty thing, but it takes up a lot of space in the kayak. It's a lot of extra weight. I'm not really using it for its intended purpose. Like, do I really need this thing on here? So it's just, there's fads, right? Like, there's a lot of fads in life. Things are cool for a minute. Everybody's like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. And then it runs its course. The light tackle stuff, I thought might be that with me, because I was having a lot of fun the first few trips with it. And I'm like, this will probably run its course in a week or two. But I'm still hardcore into it, man. And I'm like trying to figure out how I'm going to get better at it. Trying to dial in. I'm using you might say, Justin, why are you using the 15-pound line? Well, that's what I have, and I have a bunch of it. So it's convenient. I could go lighter on it, or we could try heavier even. I can't do real heavy leader line with the small hooks, because the eye of the hook, you can't get heavier line through there because the opening's so small. So I probably won't go in. I don't feel a need to go any heavier than the 15-pound. I can maybe go down to 10. I probably don't want to go any heavier than 15. I probably don't want to go any lighter than 10. I do like having braid for the main line because it's more durable. So really the only thing I have to change is just the leader. But I'm pretty content with the leader line right now. We're getting a lot of bites on it. Not only just from catfish, but hell, I caught a smallmouth here recently too, with that same setup. And I feel pretty good about it. The hooks are the biggest thing right now. I'm trying to find something that's going to give us the best hookups. I like the mosquito hooks up until yesterday. I'm liking the shiner hooks, but I feel like today this #1 size has done us better than the 3/0 size that I've used previously. So it'll probably just be a combination of figuring out, and it may be a situation too where we figure out we like one size of hook or one type of hook with certain types of baits. Maybe like if we're using live bait, I may find one type of hook that I like better for it than using cut bait. Or if we're using a big chunk of bait, I may have to go to a bigger hook or something like that. But that'll come with time. It's just that's time and experience and just getting out and trying things and seeing what works and what don't. It's like that wide gap finesse hook. It didn't take me very long at all to figure out, like, boy, I'm just not hooking up with this. Like, I'm just not getting, rods going down, but I keep missing fish with it. Meanwhile, the other rod where I've got a different hook, I'm getting better hookups with it. So it'd be one thing if neither hook was getting good hookups. Maybe you blame it on the fish short striking or something like that. But like when one hook is getting solid hookups and you're catching fish and the other hook not so much, you're like, okay, this hook just and I'm sure it's a fine hook for certain situations, but for the application we're using it for, it's just not working out. But again, that's just trial and error. You know, you got to get out there and play with it and take your swings. And it's kind of one of them things, man. There's not a lot of, it's not like I can go to YouTube and be like, well, let me just type in light tackle catfishing and figure out who the expert is and duplicate what they do, because there's not really a lot of people that do this. Chat Cats there, Joe Jellison, he does it down there in Chattanooga on his guide trips in the summer. He'll run up to the dam and drift pieces of chicken, just free line them with a hook, bass tackle, 10-pound line and stuff. But if memory serves me, I'm pretty sure when I went with him, I think we were using circle hooks. I'm pretty sure we were. So just kind of one of them things. I'm just kind of figuring it out on my own through trial and error, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I'm enjoying it. I mean, even you take our biggest fish today, I mean, they're fun sizers, quality fish. And they would have bent our heavy tackle rods over too. But not like we got with the light tackle. And the fights, I would have had them fish up in 30 seconds on the heavy tackle. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm into it right now, so y'all are going to be subjected to it. If you come with me on these trips, I'm going to be running these light tackle rods just about every trip probably. I'm trying to get Daniel there, Catfish Sumo owner, to make me a light tackle. Oh, here they are again. Look at them out there. You see them? I think those are white bass. Busting the surface. They're up on there on that flat. It's real shallow up on that flat. I mean, I'm talking 3 foot, 5 foot deep right up there. That whole area up there is real shallow, and then it comes over here and drops off into the river channel. Yeah, they're all over there, man. But yeah, I'm trying to get Daniel to make me a light tackle catfish rod. Not that there's anything wrong with this, but it's like, I told him, I'm like, look, if I'm going to be using this and I'm into it, why not just make a Catfish Sumo brand? Because, I mean, like Ugly Stick there, they're made by Pure Fishing. That's their parent company, which is basically a big, big conglomerate, if you will. They own Pure Fishing, they own Ugly Stick and Shakespeare and Berkeley, and they own a bunch of different brands. And I like some of their products, but I don't really care for the company itself. I'd rather support a business that supports me. So I'm like, Daniel, just make me a lighter tackle spinning rod. And he makes the original chopstick rod, which is a lighter tackle catfish rod, and I use those for the carp fishing, and I like them. but they're a little bit stiffer than what I would like for the light tackle. Like they're light for your traditional catfish rod purposes, but they're still heavier action than what I want for this. So I told him, I was like, you know, you need to make you it could be a light tackle catfish rod / bait rod. Because, I mean, I could use them same rods right there for catching skipjack or white bass and stuff like that when I'm making bait runs. Tie on my bait rigs on them rods when I'm bait fishing, and then tie on the catfish rigs when I'm ready to catfish. I'm hoping he'll do it. But it'll take time. Even if he does, it'll take time. It'll take time to... Gonna have to design the rod, get the prototypes, test it, make changes, probably get more prototypes, test it. Takes a while to get things dialed in. They started a new brand, Carp Sumo. I finally talked him into getting me some Carp gear. I got the first stuff. He sent me a care package the other day. Had some hooks and some pre-tied rigs and some fake corn and some feeders and stuff. I'm gonna get out and do a carp trip at some point here in the near future and see if we can bust something with that new gear. By the time you're seeing this video, because I'm about a week and a half behind at this point, or a week and a half ahead, I should say. You should be able to go to the website and see what's available on that, carpsumo.com. And you'll be able to see what's available for now. There's more stuff coming. There's going to be some rods coming out soon. I don't know when. I've seen pictures. I have not seen the physical rods yet, but they look good. I'm excited to try them out. But those will be coming shortly, Carp Sumo. So anyway, it's nice just to have another option. There's not a lot of carp gear here in America, and the best source of carp tackle to this point has been bigcarptackle.com. And God almighty, you order something, I don't care if you order a pack of hooks. Oh, our chunk got hit. He's got it, man. Let's pick up on it. We finally got something to eat on our heavy tackle rod here. Got that chunk eat. All right. He feels like a pretty decent fish too. It's took what, 5 or 6 fish on the light tackle rod to finally get a bite on the heavy tackle, but hopefully it'll be worthwhile when we get him up here. On the chunk. Hard for me to take that head bait off because you know how I feel about them head baits, but I wanted to see, would it make a difference? Is it just they just don't want a head bait today? Are they willing to eat I mean, they're obviously been willing to eat the gizzard shad body sections. We haven't tried a gizzard shad head yet. Maybe should try one. There's some big bubbles coming. He actually ain't that big. I mean, he ain't small, but I mean, it's larger dink, smaller fun size. He's not nearly as big as what I thought he was going to be. Felt better than he was. Well, he ain't hooked very good either. No, quit now. Let me get in your mouth there. Open up. There we go. Pop that hook out just like that. Yeah, he didn't end up being as big as I thought he was going to be. But he ate that piece of skipjack. Let me get that other skipjack. Get the good part of the meat on it too. These skipjack, I like from that dorsal fin right there, forward, the head, and this piece of meat right there above that dorsal fin. Once you get beyond the dorsal fin back, I catch fish on this part, but not as much, and quality ain't always as there as much with that section of meat as it is with the forward part of it, the forward of the dorsal fin. All right, down it goes. Well, what is it? 5 or 6 fish to 1 now, light tackle versus the heavy. Still got our biggest fish, our 2 biggest fish on the light tackle. We'll see how it plays out here in the next hour or so. I ain't gonna fish very late in the evening today because I have to be home to have dinner with the fiance. She's not very happy with me switching to an afternoon shift today, but I told her, you know, the boss, man, he works me like a dog. He wants me to work some afternoon hours. I gotta go work the afternoon shift. So I told her to blame the boss, not me. Here comes the wakeboarder again. Lord, she must have done hit the water. I see her butt cheeks. Her butt cheeks are eating her swimsuit there. She needs to get a tan on the rest of them cheeks. Well, here he comes. Let's spin around, why don't you? Spin around and go around a circle right here in front of me. Why the hell couldn't he just keep going on down the river? Now we're going to get hit with waves coming 2 different directions. Oh, and there she goes, too. She just, old Tits McGee over here just took a dive. And now he's going to spin around and come get her. She better pull her underwear out her butt cracker, too. Her butthole done eat that swimsuit. Now listen, I ain't opposed to having Tits McGee seeing her butt coming down the river either. I ain't opposed to it, but that one there ain't necessarily one that you're hoping to see, if you know what I mean. That ain't Sydney Sweeney going down through there, folks. That's Sydney Sweeney's second cousin's aunt twice removed. That's who that is. I hate them damn wakeboarders though. Man, I hate them. They're the one thing on the water that annoys everything else. Like there could be a bass fisherman beating the banks over there, and me and you could be over here and we wouldn't interfere with each other at all. A pontoon boat going up the river here, out pleasure riding, whatever, you know, they drive by, very brief interaction, it's over. Even the jet skis going by, you know, I don't like jet skis when they get out there and just constantly zip around in the same area right there in front of you. But like the ones we had out here earlier, they went up the river a ways and then they come back down a ways. They're not too big of a pest. But these wakeboarders, they disrupt everybody. It don't matter what you're doing on the water. There's not one person that likes the wakeboarder except for the people in the wakeboard boat. That's it. That's the only people that enjoys the wakeboarders, is if you're in the boat. That's it. The sun's starting to, it's finally made the turn here, folks. It's going down there behind us. We're shining the light on my beautiful feet there. You perverts out there might notice yesterday, I mentioned it in yesterday's video that I filmed, but we got our toes done. Me and my fiance, we went and had the Asian spa, got my toenails cut last night. I got some extra treatment last night too. We went in, and this place we've been going to, we've tried a few of them. There's an Asian spa on every corner in my town. But the one we've kind of settled on that we like the best, it just happens to be the cheapest too that we've been to. Coincidence, but we like it the best. We've had good experiences there. But yesterday we went in, and surprisingly, there was nobody there. I mean, staff was there, but like customers, there wasn't. We were the only ones there for pedicures. There was one woman getting her fingernails done. But like the pedicure area was wide open. So we go there and sit down, and the whole time we're there, nobody else shows up. So like the people, this little hot girl, she was doing my feet, and my fiance, she had a man doing hers. And both of them spent extra time on us. Like that girl, she got done cutting my toenails and filing them and digging out around the nail beds and stuff with that ice pick. She took the cheese grater and got my corns and a piece of sandpaper, it felt like, and got the bottom of my feet and my heels and whatnot. And then she started massaging my feet and my calves. And I mean, she went the distance too, buddy. They always do that, but like sometimes it's like a little, that right there, and you get about a minute of it, and that's that. But yesterday, I guess because nobody else was there, they didn't have nothing else to do. Like they put some time into it, and some effort into it. Me and my fiance both, we got in the car and be like, yeah, that was the best time yet we've had. I sat there and drank a Pepsi, because they offer you a free complimentary beverage, so I got me a Pepsi in a can, which is the best way to drink a Pepsi. It's the only way to drink a Pepsi, really. I try not to drink them too often because they ain't good for you, but I had me one last night, sitting there and playing on my phone and Wordscape. That's kind of the game I've been on. I got off Candy Crush a couple years ago. I've been on Wordscape ever since. Somebody had recommended, back when I had YouTube comments, somebody recommended that Wordscape game, and I tried it out. Now that's the game I play during toilet time and times when I'm bored. I sat there and played that game, drank my Pepsi, and had that little Asian girl massaging my feet and my calves, and it was delightful. It was a delightful evening. We go about once a month now. It's one of those life luxuries. If you'd asked me 5 years ago that I'd be paying to get somebody cut my toenails, I'd have told you were crazy. But what started as a joke, because I was making fun of my parents all the time, because they go to them Asian spas, get their pedicures, because they can't bend over and do their toenails anymore. Like they can't cut their own anymore. And they tried talking me into, oh, Justin, you're going to love it. You ought to go to, I was like, hell, I ain't doing that. And they got me a gift certificate as a birthday present last year. And of course, she was my girlfriend at the time, fiance now. She was all excited about it because she goes and gets her nails done. She gets her fingernails done too. I don't do that yet. Thankfully, I haven't went down that road. But we ended up going, and the first couple of times I went, it was traumatic. Because I used to not like people messing with my feet. And the first time they take the cheese grater to your corns, like it's pretty intense. I mean, there's a pile of skin there when they're done. Now it's not too bad because they stay on top of it, but it was pretty intense the first time. I ain't gonna lie, like I'd probably left some claw marks in the chair where I was hanging on for dear life. But now I'm accustomed to it. I like it. And it's hard to imagine ever going back to cutting my own toenails again. One of those life's guilty pleasures. But it is a little pricey. Well, this place we went to, it's the cheapest around in my area that we found anyway. It's $38 per person for the basic. Now, if you get something called a gel coat over your, obviously don't get no toe polish because I ain't like that, you know. But my fiance, I mean, she gets hers painted, but she don't get the gel, but that's apparently extra. And I don't know what's special about the gel, but apparently it's extra. And I guess there's other stuff they can do too that adds on to the price, like different packages and stuff, but we always just get the basic one. And it's $38 plus a tip, you know, whatever you tip them. Which I always struggle on that. I'm like, how much should I tip? So I just do like $20, $10 a person basically. I feel like $38, if you're doing a $10 tip on a $38 bill, I feel like that's sufficient, but I'm not known as a great tipper anyway, so maybe it's not. I do feel better about tipping them because they are providing a service that's enjoyable versus a lot of these places you go, like yesterday I'd stopped and got a Subway sandwich. And they make your sandwich there. I put it in a bag. And at the cash register, you put your card in and it asks, do you want to tip them? Well, what the hell? Why? It's no different than any other fast food place. Yes, they're making a sandwich for me, but they're not waiting on me. I'm not sitting down over here. They're not bringing me drinks. They're not cleaning the table when I leave. Like they're not serving me. I hate these fast food places that want to get a tip out of you. Hell, we go to this little hibachi place sometimes downtown, and we'll go pick up a to-go order. They have a drive-through. And we go through the drive-through, we place our order, you drive around, and they make you sign, like you give them your card, and they give you this little clipboard, and you have to actually sign. And they want a tip on there, and then they also, setting out on the, right there by the drive-through door, they've got like a little bucket there. They want you to put cash in for a tip. I'm like, I'm not tipping you for a drive-through order. Like you're scooping the hibachi, the rice, and meat, you're putting it in a styrofoam container, putting it in a bag, and handing it to me. I'm not tipping for that. It's no different than going to McDonald's drive-through. Like the tip culture that we're in today's time, it's gotten out of control. Like when I went and got a haircut today, I tipped the hairdresser girl. They don't have to work very hard on my hair because it's just buzzing it down. I ain't got much hair left. If I could see the back of my neck to be able to cut it right, I'd just do it my damn self. But I'll tip the hairdresser girl because they're doing a service. I'll tip the Asian girl there that does my toes because she's doing a service. I'm not going to tip somebody in a fast food drive-through. I'm not going to do it. They're not going above and beyond. You know what the word tip stands for? I heard this one time. Tip stands for to ensure promptness. When tips got started, when it became a thing, people would tip ahead of time. They would tip when they got to the restaurant so that they would get a table sooner, so that they would get better service. They would tip the money to the person up front not once the meal was over. So it's gotten out of control. I'm honestly annoyed every time I go to a fast food place or a drive-through and they want a tip. It annoys me. I get annoyed by it. I shouldn't, but I do. It sets off something in me that doesn't bring out my best qualities. I'm going to adjust these baits here. If we need to. Yeah, I need to a little bit. We're 55 feet here. We're coming out of this hole. I'm not going to go back up again. Let me check this bait. Let me check this thing. Make sure it's still on there. Yeah, still on there. Still looks good. I'm going to just keep going. Probably for not much longer. I got to be home in a reasonable hour to keep the woman happy, so we can have dinner together at a reasonable hour tonight. We're just going to keep on this drift here for a little while, see what else we can get. I'll show you here. You can see how we've kind of, hopefully with the sun now, ain't got a big glare, maybe you can actually see something, but we're at the bottom of this hole and starting to come out. So I'm going to work us back over here toward this side. That way we can kind of continue on this ledge. When we went back up for this other pass, I wanted to come kind of right down the middle of this thing and disregard my graph. Back a few months ago, I broke off that ram ball. You can see I still got part of the base there. It broke off, so this thing's I just throw it in the front hatch there when I'm transporting and stuff. I'm always in and out of different kayaks all the time anymore. I fish out of my Lynx some days I got my other kayak with the motor. I got too many kayaks. I'm going to sell my native. The native Slayer 10, I'm going to sell it. If any of y'all are interested, I would say leave a comment, but I don't have comments on this channel anymore, so out of luck on that. But I need to sell it soon. I may actually wait till spring and get a better deal on it then, get more money out of it then. At some point I want to try that 10-foot Old Town pedal kayak, and I want to try a Hobie Compass. I want to try both of those. But I'm pretty content with this one and my Hobie Lynx, like being my primary kayaks for pedal kayak purposes. I like the Lynx especially for bait runs, quick bait runs, because I can put it in the back of the truck. It's lightweight, easy to load and unload. It's very fast to pedal, so I can get where I'm going quickly. This is better for days like today where we're catfishing. We want the more secure rod holders. We want something that's better with the wind, but still fast. This is a very fast pedaling kayak as well. My Hobie Pro Angler with the motor, it's pretty much, that's my tournament rig. And I like it on the carp trips as well, because I can put the anchor poles on there. So those three kayaks serve a big purpose. I had hoped when I got that native Slayer 10 to maybe replace this one with a shorter, lighter, more compact version, but just didn't. I like it, but I don't love it. I love this thing. I just like the native, and there's a lot of things I don't like about it. This kayak here, the only things I really don't like about it, I wish it wasn't as heavy, but if you sacrifice the weight, it's not going to be as durable, so, trade-off. And the other thing, I wish I could put it in the back of the truck bed without needing a bed extender. The 13-foot length of this kayak, if I'm going to haul it in my truck, I need a bed extender, which I have one, but it's just a pain in the ass to take on and off. I want something simple, fast. My Lynx, I can just throw it in the back and go. This one I haul on a trailer. So, like right now, I've got my car. I've got a compact car, Honda Fit, that I tow. I've had the trailer for this hooked up to, and I got the Lynx still in the back of my truck. And whatever, and like this morning, I go out, I go get a haircut, go in the truck where I got the Lynx, and I get back home and eat lunch, switch vehicles, and I'm out here in this one. It's nice having options. I was saying there yesterday in the video, though, if I could only have one, I would choose this one. This kayak I can do everything in. The others are kind of specialized. They have a niche purposes. But I like having options. I enjoy all of them. I have fun in all of them. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. I'd much rather be doing this than being out in the boat, man. It's just so much more fun. Every time you hook up with a fish in a kayak, it's just a different experience. You're close to the water. The fish is towing you. You get one of these big heavy rods going down. The fish really buries it. It takes the side of the kayak. You start to lean a little bit. That's fun. I just enjoy it. I love it. I fished out of a boat for a long time before I got into kayak fishing, and it's not the same. Once I started fishing out of a kayak, the boat was it was sitting there on the carport just collecting dust. I eventually sold it. Haven't missed it at all. I had thought, it's been 2 or 3 years ago, I thought I'd get me a little John boat for the carp fishing. Because the carp fishing, even when I'm in the kayak, I'm using them anchor poles. I got 2 of them and drive down on each side, and so it basically, I mean, it takes the kayak out of kayak fishing. You're so stable, you don't get that kayak fishing experience. So I was like, well, if I'm not getting the kayak fishing experience anyway with carp, I might as well get a boat and then I can cover some more water. So I picked up a little John boat and instantly regretted it because it was so loud. Just the slightest chop on the water, it'd be banging on that aluminum hull, and it was just, and I didn't have, I mean, yeah, it was faster because I had the outboard, but I didn't have much more space in that little John boat than I do in a kayak, and I was like, I instantly regret this. So I sold it pretty quickly. Kayak fishing's just fun. It's simple. There's not a lot to tear up. No maintenance to be done. I mean, this pedal drive here, this Old Town pedal drive, this is 4 years old. This is a 2021 model kayak. I've had it in freshwater. I've had it in salt water. I've put a ton of miles on this thing. Just, I mean, hell, my bait runs alone. I mean, y'all know how much I troll for bait, catching skipjack and white bass and stuff. I mean, I've put a lot of miles on this thing. Zero maintenance, other than just hosing it off when you get out of salt water. That's it. I mean, no maintenance whatsoever. It's just, I'll wash the kayak about once or twice a year. I'll hose it down and give it a good cleaning. Put some of that 303 protectant on there. It's kind of like an Armor All for kayaks, essentially. But I mean, I'll do that once or twice a year, and that's it. Boats, man, you got to go to the gas station, fill up with gas. Got to change the oil. If you got an old 2-stroke motor, you got to mix the gas and the oil. Service the motor. I mean, there's always stuff to go wrong. These pedal kayaks, they're pretty. This Old Town pedal drive is maintenance free. The Hobie pedal drive, maintenance free. The Native, similar to the Old Town, but it does require maintenance. You have to grease it, supposedly every few months you're supposed to. I haven't done that yet. I haven't used that kayak as much as I thought I would when I got it, so I don't feel like it needs it at this point. And since I'm going to sell it, I'm not even going to buy the kit to do it with. It'll be the next owners. They can do that. But man, you get you a pedal kayak, and yeah, they're expensive. But once you've bought it, like, you're good for years, and you won't have to put any money into it, no maintenance into it. If you've got a big heavy kayak, you can still haul it on a little cheap jet ski trailer behind a car. I mean, I've got one of the smallest cars they make, a Honda Fit, and I've towed my other kayak there, my Hobie Pro Angler. I've towed it all over the damn country, going to tournaments and stuff. And of course now I've got the truck, but like this kayak here, last year I took it to Louisiana and I put the bed extender on, but like I throw it in the back of the truck and go. Don't even need a trailer. You can launch it pretty much anywhere you want. I used a boat ramp over here today, but like this, if I take the pedal drive out, it's light enough weight, I can manage it pretty much anywhere, slide it in. I've put this in on the creeks and just side of the road type places in a lot of instances. We got to raise these baits up. We're coming up here now. We're coming out of this hole. 51 feet, 52 feet. It's going to start coming up. This morning, we didn't really do nothing on that second. When we went back up and come through that hole again, we really didn't do anything, did we? Well, we got that one. We had that one there on the piece of skipjack. That was really about it. We should have probably just kept going, I guess, instead of turning around and going back up. Give me a second here, folks. I'm going to pedal a little bit. I'm going to get us over here on this ledge. We'll probably have to adjust our baits again once everything settles, but I want to get us closer to that brake line that we were initially following. We've been kind of in the center of this, really the center of the river, if you will, kind of down the middle of that hole. Now that we're out of that hole, I want to get us back over here closer to where that steep drop kind of starts to level out. There we go. And you can see it right here. Okay, you see how the land's right here and it starts to come up? And look right there. You see some fish right there too, don't you? You see some fish right there on the edge of it. That's a break line, folks. When you've got a sudden increase or decrease in depth, that's a break line. You'll see fish oftentimes work them edges like that. So we've got to definitely, we're 44 feet here, so we've definitely got to reposition our baits now, but be over here a little closer to this and hopefully get back on some fish here. I don't know what it is about the edges, but the way I've always kind of rationalized it, and when they're swimming along there on the bottom, everything looks the same. So the edges of the channel, it just gives them something different. It's something for them to relate to as they move along. But I'll tell you, man, we could drift down the center of the river and we'll catch some fish. I've done it for a long time. But if you will start paying attention to where you're at, work the contours, and look, it is an extra expense or extra hassle. Like if we didn't have that map card, we could still work the edges, but we'd have to use the graph and kind of like pedal up. And when we see the increase right there, on the ledge starting to come up, then we'd back off a little bit, drift down a little further, you know, and we'd have to be constantly checking. With the map card, and with it being accurate here for where we're at, I know it's accurate because, I mean, I've fished out here enough to know, having used it, that it's pretty spot on in my area. But with that map card, I can just look at it and then look at the depth and kind of know, oh, there we go, there we go. We get over here on this break line and immediately we're getting bit again. How about that? How about that, folks? Funny how that works. But I know exactly where I'm at with that map card, and that's, you know, those are like $100, those map cards to stick there in your graph. That's the smallest fish of the day too. We didn't need to waste the bait on him. But we get over here and what do you know, there's more fish. We weren't seeing nothing out there. Kind of in the center, there he goes, get him out of here quick. But right here under us now, look at all them fish. There's a pile of fish right there. You know what I want to do though? I want to get one of them gizzard shad heads. I want to try it. Since we've got the skipjack chunk on there, let's get one of them bigger gizzard shad heads. That one right there is a good one, looks like. And send it down and see if they'll eat that. But I mean, if you have a basic graph, and again, I've told the story, I bought that graph right there. I paid $200 for it in either 2017 or 18. And that one came with that card. But if you bought that card separate, they're like $100. And I know they're $100 because I just bought a graph for my Hobie Lynx a few months ago. And it was on sale. The graph was for $200, and then I spent $100 on the card. So it will add a little bit of an expense for you. But if you're fishing somewhere where you can have access to that map card, boy, it's worthwhile. It makes things a lot easier, being able to see where you're at on the ledge in real time. Now, some bodies of water, it ain't worthwhile. The Ohio River is a prime example, man. That map card, when I went to the Ohio River, it sucks because it's always changing up there. But when you're fishing a lake, or like the Tennessee River here, which is a series of reservoirs, it can be worthwhile. It can be very worthwhile to have that map card. We're on some fish, man. Look at all that right there. There's a pile of them, 44 feet. We're just off this ledge. I'm trying to get us a little bit closer over here. I want to stay on them fish right there too, sit on top of them. We'll see if they'll eat that gizzard shad head. They either will or they won't. They got two options they can eat, or nothing at all. Let's see what time it is. I'm going to have to get out of here soon. Let's see what time it is now. 6:49. Give it a few more minutes. We fished till about 7 o'clock, and then if we fish till 7, that'll put me home by 8. So I just got to run down here to the back of this creek where I put in at. I'll have to adjust these baits again. We're coming up 39 feet now as we come out of this hole. Actually, that one's okay. Probably need to lower that one, actually. Well, now we're 44. Must have been a glitch there. Now it says 44. It said 30. It went up to 39. Now it's 44. Either way, it's been a fun afternoon out here. We've gotten a few fish. Got a couple there that was good quality. Got the skipjack body section eat once. But you know what? If we had been out here today, folks, with 2 rods and the heavy tackle, I don't know that it would have been a very good day. We might have just got that one fish. Maybe if we don't have the other option for them, maybe some of those other fish, maybe they eat a bigger bait. Who knows? But it's also possible, too, if we'd had 2 lighter action rods all the way down through here, we may have doubled our catches today. Who knows? It's one of them things we'll never know the answer to, but either way, it's been a nice afternoon. It's been an enjoyable afternoon. We haven't had too many people pestering us. A couple jet skis and wakeboarder, and even they weren't as obnoxious as they could be because they at least went on. We got a school of shad over here beside us. You see them on the surface right there? I'll keep a camera pointed that way. They had come up flipping there a second ago, and you can see them. This time of year, you'll find these big, giant schools of shad. They'll be all over. And you'll get skipjack, you'll get white bass, sometimes you'll get schools of largemouth, schools of stripers. You'll be out chasing them things all over. We've seen it out here a little bit tonight with the skipjack out in the middle of the channel and then white bass there up on that flat. I know for a fact that one school was skipjack because I literally saw them come out of the water. And that's usually, you can usually tell skipjack in a school because they'll like physically come up, their whole body will come out of the water. Sometimes when they're chasing fish. Them shad ain't gonna flip over now that I put the camera that way. But the white bass and largemouth, like they'll come up and hit the surface. You'll see tails splashing and stuff, but like you don't see the whole body of the fish come out like you do with skipjack. But they're both here. They're both here in this area. We've had some blues here in this area. We just ain't seen the flatheads tonight. I really wanted a flathead. And as sunset, if we were fishing out here till just past dark, we'd certainly have better odds. As the sun keeps going down, our chances of a flathead would certainly improve, I have to believe, especially in the clear water, but not in the cards for us tonight, folks, as I'm going to get out of here in a few minutes and go eat dinner with the love of my life, who I'm about to marry here in a few weeks. And then tomorrow, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to replace the line on my Ultralight reel. And I'm going to go throw some worms and I'm going to throw some real worms and I'm going to throw some gulp worms. One of my channel members sent me a jar of gulp trout worms a while back. I want to try them things out. He says he uses the same jig head that I use for the gulp minnows, but he rigs them like a Ned rig. And he's had a lot of success with them. Wanted me to try them out, so I'm going to try them. This school of shad's right over here beside us now. Big school right here. I don't know if you can see them or not. Right there beside us. Big old school. Something's moving around. I'll try to steer us a little bit to the right here and just see if there might be something under them. Because we saw all them fish right in this area here, right above us as we was drifting down, and now we've got this school of shad right here. I'm just gonna just slowly work us up here to them. See if there's anything under them. I see a few fish there. I don't know if they're relating to that school shad or if they just happen to be there along the bottom. Unknown. Doesn't matter. All that matters is that they're there. Can we get them to eat that gizzard shad head or not? Yeah, I'm gonna go ultralight fishing in the morning. It's been a while. Been missing it. I'll probably take a cooler with me too. Probably take a cooler and a bucket. If we get something worthwhile, worth keeping, I'll maybe try to keep it alive. Use a big live bait, but that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. Definitely going ultralight fishing tomorrow. I don't know beyond that. Maybe the following day's catfishing. Maybe it's carp fishing. Definitely going to get a carp trip in soon because I want to try out that new gear. Something tapped us over, I thought. Unless the corner of my eye was playing tricks on me. It happens. The peripheral vision ain't what it used to be. Neither is the night vision. I can't see worth a damn at night anymore, folks. Me trying to drive at night, I wouldn't want to ride with me. That's for damn sure. If something hit it, he's gone now. We didn't really cover much water out here today when it was all said and done. We didn't cover a great distance. I mean, we worked our way down the ledge and through this hole, but I had kind of thought we would be further on downriver by now, but we were moving slow. We had the wind blowing upriver. Well, I mean, it's still a light breeze out here now. It's slacked off some as the afternoons went on, but that slowed our speed, slowed our drift, and so we didn't end up covering as much water as what I had anticipated that we would had we been moving the normal, say, half-mile-an-hour flow down through here. But that's all right. I mean, like I said, we still got several fish. We got a couple fun sizers, and thankfully got them on the light tackle rod. I'm okay with how things went. Just wish we could have got us a flathead. That's what I wish, folks. Just want that big flathead, especially coming out here. That was my main motivation for coming here. I'm like, I need somewhere that's close to the house. That way I can get here fast and get set up fast and get home fast when I'm done. And I want a place I can get a big flathead. I'm like, I've caught a bunch of big flatheads here in September. Oh, look right here. He got hit. There it goes. All right, we finally got that gizzard shad head eat. He ain't gonna be very big, but you know what? It's a great way. I always like closing out a video with a fish if possible. I think we'll close out the video with this fish. It's almost 7 o'clock, so I'd like to be home and eating dinner by 8. So we'll just close it out with this fish right here. Fish, how does it feel to be the last, potentially the last one of the video, unless our big bait over here gets eaten? He says he don't give a damn. He's got a hook in his mouth. He don't give a damn about anything except getting the hook out of his mouth. Boy, his mouth's all tore up. Give me a hook. Goodness gracious, it's in there good. I gotta get the pliers on that thing, I reckon. There it is, lordy days. Bottom of his mouth, though, is tore up. Like his jaw's been broke. That might have been caught before, potentially. All right, folks, well, did that rod? Maybe I imagined that too. I thought it might have got bumped. But yeah, folks, I think that's a good place to end the video here. Like I said, I need to get home and eat dinner with the lady, and what better way to go out than with a fish. Several fish caught today. Nice, productive area down through here. Just didn't get the flathead we wanted, but I had some fun. I enjoyed it. Hope you did too. I'll see you tomorrow there. We're going ultralight fishing, so that should be the next video if all goes well. We'll have an ultralight trip. See you then.